From data entry to advanced analysis, the scope in Excel grows with your skills. So whether you are a data analyst or a data scientist, even if you are a business analyst or a project manager, Excel is one must-known tool for everyone. So hello everyone and a very warm welcome to WsCube Tech. My name is Ayushi Jain, and in this video we will be covering our complete course on MS Excel, where we will be learning about basics of Excel from functions to data cleaning, from Power Query Editor, where we will be learning about data transformation, data cleaning, to Power Pivot, where we will be learning about data modeling. Also, we will be learning about how we can create dashboards, how we can forecast our data, and many more in this entire course. So before we start, if you want to become a successful data analyst and if you want to learn data analytics live from our experts, then fill the form provided in our description or call on the given number. Not just that, with our every batch you get 2 demo classes. So let's get started. How things work in Excel, what is a workbook, what is a worksheet, what is a ribbon, what are different tabs in Excel. We will be discussing all that in our today's session. First of all, let's open Excel for that. The version that I'm using is 2021. And over here on the top, we have good morning, and here we have a blank workbook. So if you want to open a blank workbook, you can click on blank workbook. Also, we have a home button. We have a new button which will allow us to open a new blank workbook. And we also have an open option which allows us to open a previously created Excel workbook or worksheets. Okay. Now let's open a blank workbook over here. Once you click on a blank workbook, this is how the interface of Excel blank workbook looks like, or Excel workbook looks like. Now, because we don't have any data, that's why these cells are empty. On the top, we have a ribbon. In ribbon, we have different tabs. We have file, we have home, we have insert, which allows us to insert different things. For example, slices, charts, or if you want to add shapes and pictures, we can use insert. The page layout allows us to lay out our page. Formulas have different formulas. So from here, you can access different formulas, some recently used formulas, some financial formulas. We have logical formulas, text, date and time, lookup, reference, and we also have math and trigonometric formulas. If you go to more functions, we have statistical, engineering, cube, information, compatibility, and web-based formulas. So this is the formula tab. Next, we have data tab. Data tab allows us to create or obtain new files and folders. So if you want to open a new folder over here, like if you have a folder which has different Excel workbook or worksheets and you want to open it here, in that case, you can use get data. And we have different options, for example, folder, Excel workbook, CSV file, XML, JSON data, or even you can get a data from a PDF as well. Similarly, if you want to get a data from a website which is in a tabular format, then you can use from web as well. Also on the right, you will see Flashfill, remove duplicates, data validations, and different options that we'll be going through in this whole course. Then we have review option, view option. We also have developer option. The developer option might not be enabled in your case. For that, you need to go on files, you need to go on options. In options, you will find customize ribbon and make sure you click on the developer button, which is on the right hand side. So it will be disabled for you. Once you click on enable and click on OK, it will be enabled for you. The developer button allows you to create a VBA, Visual Basic Code. You can create macros or you can record macros over here as well. Then we have the help section. So this was the ribbon. This was the ribbon in Excel. Coming back to home page. Now the next thing that is here is a formula bar. So here we have a formula bar. In a formula bar, you can write formulas. So if you want to write any kind of formula, suppose if I write any value 56 and 67 over here, and if you want to give a formula to this cell, which would be a sum of these two cells, then you can write your formula directly in the formula bar as well, or you can write the formula in the cell as well. That choice is completely up to you. But this area is known as formula bar. Next is our cell grid. So in this grid, if I'm clicking on any of the cell, you can see a number over here is changing, a value over here is changing. Here right now it's D4, which tells us that D is the name of the column and 4th is the number of row. If I move over here, it tells us L11, which tells us L is the name of the column and 11 is the number of row. So this is our cell grid. At the bottom, we have options to create multiple sheets over here. So this whole thing is an Excel workbook. This whole interface is of an Excel workbook, and then you can create multiple sheets as per your convenience. If you want to delete them, you can delete them as well. If you want to rename them, you can rename them as well. If you want to create a copy of a sheet, you can do that too. You want to protect the sheet that no one, if you share the sheet, no one will be able to make any changes to it. You can protect the sheet as well. So this is how you can create new sheets. On the right hand side, suppose if I write anything in these cells and if I select these cells, so on the right hand side, you'll find the average, you'll find the count, and you will find the sum of these values. So these are just for a quick look. So if you want to quickly look at the values, let it be count, sum, or average, or anything, then you can just click over here. Now let's talk about filling the values inside it. To create a table or to write any data inside it, we usually, when we create a table, this is how we do it. Suppose if I want to create a table based on my expenses, the first thing that I would mention is date, like on which day I have made any expense. What is the category of the expense? What is the subcategory of that expense? And you can give a hyphen instead of an underscore. Subcategory. And how much amount you have paid for it. And what was your payment mode, so that we have a track of payment mode as well, like if you're using UPI mode or cash mode or credit card mode. So payment mode would be our last thing. Okay, so as you can see over here, that subcategory, it's not visible properly. All you need to do is just go at the end of the column and double click over here, and now you can see subcategory is completely visible. Okay, so just double click over here and it will adjust the column size according to your data. Now if I go to date, you need to write date in this format. Like for example, let's say today's date is 22 and I want to create this whole sheet for my December expenses. So let's do one thing. I'll just use the upper grid like this and till W, let's say. And on the top, we have merge in center, which allows us to merge all these cells. Now we can write anything inside it. For example, December expenses. Okay, select all. You can increase this font size like this, and you can fill the color for the text. So suppose if you want to pick something light, you can use something light. You can also fill the color inside the cell. So if I choose the cell, here we have the option to fill the color. So suppose this is the color that I want to choose. This is how I will choose it. Okay. So payment mode is also over here. Now you can start writing your date. So let's say on 1st December, I made my first payment. The category would be, let's say I paid a bill, which was a phone bill, and the amount was 1600 and the payment mode was UPI. Okay. Similarly, if you want to add another date, let's say on 3rd of December, you ordered food from Zomato. The cost was 230 and the payment mode was, let's say, UPI again, or you can write cash as well, whatever your payment mode was. Okay. So this is how you can create data over here. You can write data over here. Now it doesn't look like it is in a tabular format. The date, category, subcategory, the values over here, they all look very similar. If you want to change its format, let's first also increase the size. So I'll also increase the size for you as well. Okay. Now it doesn't looks like it's in a tabular format. To make it a table, to create a table over here, all you need to do is select any cell over here which contains any value and press on Control T. Control T gives you a shortcut to create a table. Also mention that my table has headers. If you do not enable it, see, it will give you column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5. Instead of this, what you need to do is Control T, but make sure you enable this option that my table has headers. Now your column names would be date, category, subcategory, amount, or payment mode. So Control T is a shortcut, but if you want to insert a table, there is another way as well. So I'll just go for Control Z again. Insert, and you can see there's a table option over here. And again, you can create a similar table. So shortcut is Control T, else you can go in insert, and here also we have a table option. Don't go for a pivot table. We will be learning about pivot tables more ahead in the session. As of now, we just need to create tables. So this is how we create a table. You can add more values to it as well. So suppose if I write 04, 12, 2023, and I made a little mistake. Okay. And the category would be, let's say, food again, but in a restaurant. And the amount that I paid was 340, and the payment was from a card. Okay. So this is how you can categorize your data like this, and this is how your table would look like. Now you will notice something over here, that whenever I'm writing a text, it's on the left hand side of a cell. Whenever I'm writing a number, it's on the right hand side of a cell. Also, if I increase the cell width of date, and let me just increase the cell width, the date also occurs on the right hand side, the amount also occurs on the right hand side, while at the same time the text occurs on the left hand side of a cell. So suppose if by mistake I have written 30,000 for some reason, let's say I bought anything which cost 30,000. Okay, if I put a comma, that's fine. But if I have written a hyphen or anything else, it would consider it as a text, not as a number. So make sure that whenever you are writing a number, no symbol should be there. Otherwise, it won't consider it as a number but as a text. Very useful when you're working with data. When you want to do a repeated task, you can use Flashfill. When you want to autofill the columns, you can use the autofill. And if you want to convert a text into a column, in that case, you can use text to column options. Let's see how these functions work over here. First of all, let's talk about autofill. Suppose if I have written 1, and in all the cells I want 1 to be written, I'll just drag it simply like this without clicking anything, just drag it. Okay, let's do it once again. Go towards the end of the cell, click on this button and drag it, and here we have 1 in each row. Now, if I press Control and then if I drag it, in that case you can see it is filling the values automatically. This is called autofill. So here we have values that are filled automatically. If you want to fill more of them, you can just again click on Control, drag it over, and you can go up to 19 and so on. This is what autofill is, which allows you to fill your values automatically. Similarly, suppose if you have some names written, for example, I'm just writing some names. So I have written some names over here, and now if in a new column you are asked to obtain the surnames, in that case what you can do is you can just write Geller, the first name, and as soon as you write B for the next one, it will detect the pattern automatically for you and fill the values. As soon as you will press enter, all the values will be filled for you automatically. Guys, this is called flash fill. Flash fill allow Excel to detect pattern that you're writing in a new column, and based on that pattern it will fill rest of the values for you. These values could be anything. These could be the names as well. So suppose if I write Monica over here, and again if I write P, it will give all the names over here. So as soon as I press enter again, now I have names in a different columns and surnames in the different column. If you want to create a column for that as well, like if you want to give it a column name as well, you can give it a column name as well. So this is how Flashfill works. It just not works on texts only. So suppose if you have numbers written or if you have written any data, and in between you have hash and 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, some values are written and we have hash 2, 3, 4, 5. We have some values hash 2, 2, 3, 3. Some values again hash 8, 8, 9, 9. And I'm just writing 4 to 5 values for this. Okay. So suppose if here, if I start writing hash 1, 2, 3, 4, here if I start writing hash, you can see it also detects the numbers as well. It also detects the symbol as well. It will just recognize the pattern that you are writing in a new column, and it will fill the whole format for you in the new column. So this is how it works. Again, if I press enter and all the data is over here in front of you. So this is how again Flashfill works. Moving ahead, let's talk about text to columns. How does text to column works? For example, if I have the very same example, let's remove this one And if I have the very same example, I have these values, right? Okay, I want to create a name in one column, I want to create surname in another column, I want names in one column, so I want surnames in another column. All I need to do is I need to go on data tab. In data tab you will find text to columns. Just click on text to columns, and here we have two options. One is delimited, one is fixed in length. So if you want to extract fixed length, you can click on fixed length. And if you want to use a delimiter, this delimiter could be anything. It could be a space, it could be a hash, it could be an @ symbol, it could be a hyphen, underscore, or anything. So here in our case it's a space. Let's click on next. It also gives us the option that, oh, what is the delimiter for you. For in our case it's a space, and as soon as I have clicked on space, see, when I don't click on space, there is, in the data preview, there is nothing happening. But as soon as I click on space, you can see the names are separated and the surnames are separated in another column. And as soon as I click on next, it's not a date, it's general value. So let's click on finish, and we have names in one column and surnames in another. This is how text to column works. It also works with a fixed length as well. So suppose you have been given some phone numbers and you want to extract last 4 digits of each value. In that case, what you can do, again, you can choose the same text to columns option. Now this time we do not have a delimiter over here, but we know that we need to extract the last 4 values. We can use fixed width over here, and we can click on next button. Now you can see over here the guidelines are given that if you want to create a break line, you just need to click at the desired position. So 1, 2, 3 and 4 over here. I'll just click and I'll be getting 4 numbers from each row. As soon as I click on next, and then this would be again a general, and click on finish, and we are done. So last 4 digits are over here. You can do it with the help of Flashfill as well, or you can do it with the help of text to columns as well. Both the functions will work for you. If the Flashfill doesn't work for you properly, then you can use text to column. But text to column has one limitation in case of width. Suppose, let's say some numbers has lesser values. Okay, so over here we have values like this. Okay, I'll just remove this one. Okay, now from these given values, I want to again extract last 4 digits. Okay, and let's go for text to columns, and we'll go for a fixed width. We'll click on next. I want to extract last 4 digits. So now you can see last 4 cannot be extracted from here. Here in the first row we have 4 digits, in the next row we have 3, in one of the rows we also have 2 digits, so it has limitations as well. So data validation, how does data validation work? What are the uses and advantages of data validation? Let's understand that first. Now suppose you're working in a company and you want to create a sheet for yourself, or even if you want to create it for some of your colleagues. If you want the data to be entered over there, but you want to put some restrictions so that there is a less chances of making an error. For example, if you're creating this data for just January month or December month, in our case, okay, or if you want the values should be under certain range, or if you want the length of the text should be between certain words or certain characters, if you want that there should be only restricted payment modes over here, for example UPI, cash or card, in that condition we can use data validation, so there are less chances of making an error. And whenever the person makes any error, it will show an error message over here. Wherever the person writes any wrong data, it shows an error message. How does it work? Let's understand that. Now, suppose let's first talk about the category, which is a text column. Let's click on this. As soon as I click on this, so all you need to do to select this column is you need to hover over it and you will find an arrow. As soon as the arrow appears, click on it. As soon as you click on it, on the top in the data tab itself, you will be finding data validation. Click on data validation. Here we have a text length. Now you can decide a text length. Suppose if it is a category, I don't want category to be a whole paragraph or a sentence as well. It should be just 1 or 2 word thing. So I want its minimum length to be 2 so that no one use in abbreviations, and the maximum length should not exceed 25. Now let's click on OK. Okay, now suppose if I try to write something in this column. So if I write to say went for shopping for a party of a friend. Okay, I hope now the length of the text is more than 25. Now as soon as I press enter, it would generate an error for me that this value doesn't match the data validation restriction defined for this cell. That means we have defined certain restrictions for this cell and the value that we are writing does not match it. So let's just remove it. Let's click on retry and I'll just write shopping, and as soon as I press enter it would allow me to write it. Similarly, let's come to date part. Now because these are the expenses of December itself, I'll just hover over here and as soon as the arrow appears I'll click on it. We'll go to data validation again. Now here we need to click on date. Now you can define the date over here, that because these expenses are from December only, so we can write that the start date should be 01/12/2023 and the end date should be 31/12/2023. Okay, and let's click on OK. Now let's try to write any value which is from November. So if I write 05, okay, and 11 and 2023. As soon as I press enter, again the same error appears for us. Let's try to write a value which is from December itself but of 2024. So 04 or 05, 12 and 2025. If I press enter, again the same error appears which says that it does not match the restrictions that we have defined for these cells. Okay, so this is how data validation for a date could work. For amount, you can pass the amount as well. So suppose if you want to define that it should be a whole number or a decimal number, it could be a decimal number as well. It could be between or it should be greater than or equal to. Okay, so I just want this expenses sheet to be of those amounts which are more than 5 rupees. Okay, so anything that I have bought which is under the range of 5 rupees, I won't be counting that as an expense. Okay, so minimum value is 5. Okay, and now if let's say I bought a toffee of 2 rupees and if I press enter, it won't allow me to write it. Okay, similarly if I write anything else, let's say if I have written 200 or if I have written 500, it would allow me to write it. Okay, lastly we have payment mode section over here. Now for the payment mode, if you know that only 3 to 4 values are there which could come in this category, for example UPI, cash, card or a credit card as well. Okay, so you can use data validation restriction for this and you can create a list for it. For example, if I click on it, go to data validation, here in any value I will be choosing a list over here. This list could contain UPI, cash, card, or let's say I'm also using a credit card, so CC. Okay, now if you click on this drop down, you can see some values are given over here, and even for a new cell as well. So suppose if I click on a new cell, it tells me that here are the 4 options that you can fill over here. Let's say this is from a card. Okay, and if I try to write anything else except for this, for let's say I took a money from a friend, so I'll just write borrowed money. Okay, let's press enter and it won't allow us to write it. So instead of this, we'll just go for card. I hope after this session it is clear how data validation works. Data validation is very useful when you're creating a sheet even for yourself or for your colleagues and you don't want them to do any error in your sheet, then you can use data validation to restrict each column. So guys, when you want to format your data based on conditions, that is called as conditional formatting, and you will find it on the home tab. On the home tab, you will find plenty of things which you can use to edit your data. Suppose if you want to change the alignment of your data, you want to make changes in the font size and everything, then you can use this tab. Also on the styles, you will be finding conditional formatting. So how to do conditional formatting? Let's understand that. First of all, let's go to amount over here. If I choose amount column, if I go to conditional formatting, if I want to highlight cells, so here are different options that are provided. You want to highlight cells that is greater than certain value, that is less than certain value, that lies between a certain value, that is equal to certain value, or that is a duplicate value, then you can highlight it as well. We have top to bottom rules, which allows us to give us the top 10 items, top 10%, bottom 10 items, bottom 10%, and you can change the values according to your choices as well. We also have data bars. So if you want to create a bar on your data, then we can use data bars. We also have color scales, icon sets, and many more things. So first of all, let's talk about highlight cell rules. So suppose I want to highlight all my expenses which are greater than 1,000 rupees. In that case, I'll go to greater than, and also I'll mention over here that all the expenses that are greater than 1,000 would be highlighted. What color do you want to fill in it? You can provide that too. You can provide a yellow color, you can provide a green color, light red fill is there, and a green color is also over here. So whatever color you want to provide, you can provide a color to that as well. Suppose this is green color. So all the expenses which are greater than 1,000 are highlighted. Similarly, you can do the same for text as well. That if you click on text, again we have conditional formatting options. We want to highlight the text that contains something. Let's say the text that contains double O. Okay, the food contains double O, so food would be here. And if I press on enter, all the things, all the categories that contains food will be highlighted. Now suppose next we have date over here. And for date, we also have a few more options. For example, a date occurring in this week, yesterday, today, tomorrow. All these things you can get from here. You can highlight all these values which are provided over here. Or we can, let's go again and go to conditional formatting. We have top to bottom rules, top 10 items, like top 10 dates. If I choose top 10 dates, the dates from today, it will be choosing the date from today. Let's click on OK. And these would be our top 10 dates. Okay, whose expenses has been recorded. Okay, and let's come back. I'll just press Ctrl Z to undo this. Again, in conditional formatting, we'll go to top to bottom rules. Now if you want to go in bottom 10 items, bottom 10%, you can choose that as well. Okay, for the amount, if you want to highlight all the values which are below average, you can see we have below average data as well. So for below average, whatever color you want to fill, you can fill that color, and it should be, let's say, you can customize your own format as well. So let's go for yellow. And okay, I guess many values are below average, so I'll just cancel this, but I just wanted to show it to you all. Similarly, again, if we choose conditional formatting, and if I want to create a data bar over this particular column, we can create data bars as well. Now the biggest bar would be on the highest value, and the other bars would be in respect to that values. So suppose this one is 16,000, in respect to 16,000, the height of the other bars will be calculated. Okay, so you can create data bars as well, and not just on tables. Suppose if you even have a range as well. Suppose this is a range. Okay, so this is a range. If you want to choose a column, we choose the column like this. If we want to choose a range, we select it like this. Okay, or we have a shortcut as well. Just press on Control and down arrow to move around. Control Shift down will select everything for you. And as soon as you click on Control Shift down, again go to conditional formatting, data bars, and you can choose data bars as well. Now you can see the biggest bar is on 100, and with respect to 100, the height of other bars are decided. This is how data bars work. Similarly, you can choose color scales as well. So we have color scales here. So we can choose color scales as well, which shows us that lower the value, darker it is in red color, higher the value, darker it is in green color. So the color scale goes from red to green, where the darker the red it is, the lower the value. Darker the green it is, then it will be the higher value. And for the neutral values, we have yellows over here. So this is how color scales work. And similarly, you can add icons to them as well. So if I press Ctrl Z again, if I go to conditional formatting, we have some icon sets. So we can create some icon sets as well. So as you can see, the lower the values, the red icon is there. For the neutral values like 67, 56, 68, these have yellow color icons, and higher values like 77, 90, 100, they have green icons in front of them. So this is how conditional formatting works, guys. You can format it based on highlighting colors, based on if you want to create data bars, based on if you want to create color scales, or even if you want to provide icon sets based on top value, bottom value, or whatever you like. For that, we use conditional formatting. I hope after this session it is clear what conditional formatting is. And with the help of this, in our upcoming session, we will be discussing about how we can sort based on conditional formatted data, how we can sort the data based on these colors. How we can do the cleaning of data in Excel itself. We are not talking about Power Query Editor right now. We'll be talking about Power Query Editor ahead in this session. But as of now, we are talking about how we can do the basic cleaning in Excel itself. For that, first of all, the first topic that we will be covering would be the formatting in Excel. Suppose if you want to change the font sizes, font colors, text colors, you want to format your data, you want to change the data types as well, or you want to fix the data types. If you have a short date, you want to create a long date. In that case, how we can do it, we will be learning that in this session. So we'll be basically talking about basics of formatting. So first of all, in basics of formatting, let's say we are talking about this cell which we have merged in center previously. If you want to change its alignment, because now it's a little bit shifted towards the right and not in the center, if you want to change its alignment towards the left hand side, you can just click on this and this is how it would change. If you select the text and if you want to increase the font size on the top, you will be finding the font size as well. You can change the font size according to yourself. As of now, you can see this data is on the left hand side but at the bottom. If you want it to be in center, on the top you will see middle alignment. First choose the cell and we'll choose the middle alignment. Now it is in the middle of the row. So this is how you can align your data. You can merge and center it. Suppose if you have 4 to 5 cells and if you want to merge and center it, you can merge and center it, and you can write whatever you want to write. For example, it could be expenses or anything, that whatever you want to write. If you want to come back, if you want to undo it, just press Ctrl Z to undo it. Okay, here we can provide borders as well. So suppose if you choose this table, here we have an option to provide a border on all the cells. Just click on all border and now you will see there is a border wrapped around every side of the cell but not on the headers. If we choose the headers, suppose if we choose the headers like this, we can choose the headers like this. You want to increase the font size of headers, we can increase the font size of headers as well. We can fix the width according to our column text. Okay, so this is how we can fix the width as well. Even when we choose amount, let's say amount or anything, let's say category, if we choose category over here, let me just click anywhere, and if I choose category and if I want that the alignment should be in middle, we can put the alignment in middle, but I like it on the left hand side, so let's just keep it on the left hand side as well. Let's talk about amount. Amount is a currency, right? So suppose if we go to general and we want to change it to currency, we can change it to currency as well. Okay, and if we have this button over here which says number format, just click on this. We can go to number or we can go to currency, which tells us that this is the sample how it would look like. A currency has 2 decimal places in the end, so that if we have a decimal value, it displays the decimal value as well. If I click on OK, you can see how the column format has changed into rupees, and we have 2 decimal places as well. If you want to change a symbol, just click over here and we have more accounting formats. We have dollars, that is English United States. Okay, we have euros and yen as well. So here we have different symbols that you can put, and then we go to date. In the date, we also have different options. We have short date, long date, or if I again click on this button here, in date section, we'll find many types of date formats. Like first you want year, then you want a month, and then you want the day. First you want the day, then month, then year, or day but month completely written, like the full form of the month is being written over here. That is a long date. If I choose this, so it will give me, instead of 12, now it will give me December, that 1st December 2023, 23 December 2023. If I choose this again, if I convert it to short date, it comes back to a short date as well. So you can choose the format as per your choice. This is how you can choose the format, fix the format as well. So suppose if you want to fix any of the formats, this is how you can do it. We'll be discussing basic cleaning in Excel in this whole module, and here today we are discussing about sorting data in Excel. How we can sort data in Excel is very simple. All you need to do is, so suppose if you have a table, here you have a filter option, just click on this. It gives you an ascending order or a descending order. So if you want to arrange in an ascending order, this is how you arrange it. If you want to arrange it in a descending order, just click on Z to A. Okay. This is how you arrange it in descending order. If you click on it again, you will see it gives an option to sort by color as well. So you can sort the data based on color as well. So let's click on this, and we have custom sort and we have font color sort or cell color sort. So let's go for a cell color sort, that whatever is in pink color that comes on the top. So food is in pink color, that comes on the top. Previously, according to A to Z method, if we go for ascending to descending method, B comes first and bills were there on the top. But now, because we have used the color sort, the color will come first. Now let's go to custom sort over here. Even in the color, I want the next level of sorting in this way, that even in a color, the amount should be in ascending order. For that, I can just add a new level. So let's add a new level over here, which says the amount should be based on cell values, and you want it to be smallest to largest. Let's click on OK. And now in the food, we have the amount arranged in ascending to descending order. Then rest of them are arranged accordingly. Okay. Now again, if you want to change any of the levels, just go to sort, custom sort. And if you want to remove any of the level, just click on it and click on delete level. Just click on it, click on delete level. If you want to add a level, you need to do it in this way. Like suppose we choose a category, based on category we want A to Z, and now we choose an amount. In the amount, according to our cell values, we choose descending order. So in bills, the highest value is 16,000, then 1600. In clothes, the highest value is 1890 and then 1000. In essentials, the highest value is 1500, then 890, then 780 and then 120. Then in food, again the descending order has been placed over here. So this is how we can sort our data. We can customize the number of levels as well as per our choice. Now if you choose a table and if you want to go to clear option, we can clear the formats as well. So whatever the formats were present over here, those formats has been cleared now as well. So if you want to clear the format, this is what you can choose. We also have clear contents and clear all. So don't choose them, otherwise all your data will be gone. Okay, so this is how we can clear the things from here. Again, let's click on it, sort by color, and we have custom sort only, and these levels are here. If you want to delete them, we can delete these levels as well and click on OK, and your table will be back to normal how it was. Okay, if you select all, you can see as soon as I choose the table on the top, we have table design as well. So you can go to table design. Okay, and here we have many options. If you want to remove duplicates, summarize with the pivot table, we'll be discussing ahead in the session that what pivot tables are. Or you can choose different styles for your tables as well. So if you want to choose any of these styles, you can go for any of these styles. If you want to choose this darkened one, you can choose this darker one as well. So totally up to you, however you want your table to look like. Okay, you can move this table as well. And for that you need to select the whole table. Once you select the whole table, you can see there's an button which shows the arrows on all the four sides. Just click on it and you can just move your table just like this. So simply you can move it. You can again set the size of your cells, and see, as soon as I have moved it, a lot of things have changed over here. For example, the date is in general format and not in a date format. So just go over here and you can just make it a short or a long date according to your choice, and it's back to the date format. And for the amount, you can just click on it again and you can change it to a currency. Okay, so yeah, and we are back to normal. So this is how you can change the table formats as well. And also, if you want to sort your data again, you can sort it according to your choice. As of now, it has been sorted ascending to descending by itself. And if you want to sort it by any color or by anything, by values as well, then you can sort it using these filters. So I hope after this session, how we can sort data is clear to you. Suppose if we want to filter our data based on any formats, how we can filter our data in Excel, let's have a look on that. For that, first of all, let's go to amount over here. Right now, I do not have any conditional formatting provided over here. So let's just go to the arrow button over here, click on number filters. If you will click on number filters, you'll be finding different options, that is equals to, does not equals to, greater than, or greater than equal to. I want to filter all the data that is greater than and equal to 1000. And if I click on OK, all the data that is greater than and equal to 1000 will be filtered over here. This is what filtering is. Okay, if you want to remove the filter, just clear filter from amount. Just click on clear filter from amount and your filter will be cleared. Similarly, if I go to date as well, in the date section also, if I click on this arrow, we have date filters, which tells us dates from, let's say, this week. So this week's dates are these, and all the data from this week has been filtered. Very helpful when it comes to budgeting or when it comes to displaying the ongoing patterns of your data with the current date or current weeks. And again, if you want to remove it, just click on clear filter from date. Similarly, for the category as well, we can filter the data. Text filters are there, equal to, not equal to, something that begins with, something that ends with, something that contains something, does not contain something, or you can create a custom filter for yourself. Suppose if on amount, again, if I provide any conditional formatting, like I want to highlight the values which are greater than 999. Okay, so here are the values which are greater than 999, and I have these values over here. Suppose if I click on this and if I want to filter the data by color, I can filter the data by color as well, like filter by cells, and automatic option is also there. Now suppose if I press Ctrl Z and I have another conditional formatting that is provided for the cell. Let's say we go to amount and let's choose the column once again. Let's say we go to amount again. If we go to top to bottom rules this time, and I want to see the bottom 10% or bottom 10 items. Okay, I want to fill it with a green color. And let's say instead of this, I'll just take bottom 5 items. Okay, now if I click on this, again we can filter by color, and you can choose the cell automatically. So suppose if you want to filter the color, filter the data with the green color or the pink color of your cell or green text color of your cell, so you can choose that too. Suppose if I choose this, it would show me all bottom 5 elements. So you can filter based on color, you can filter based on values, highest values, lowest value, equal to value, value that contains something. Based on anything, you can filter your data. Even in the payment mode, if we go to the payment mode, we can provide multiple levels of filtering. Text that contains C. So cash and credit card, they both contain C. That values will be filtered. So now there are levels of filtering. First, amount is filter, and then the payment mode is filter based on what previous filter was there. I hope after this session this is clear how we can filter our data based on our requirement. The filter can be provided on date, it can be provided on category, amount, or even if you have a list as well, we can provide the filter on the list as well. So before we start, if you want to become a successful data analyst and if you want to learn data analytics live from our experts, then fill the form provided in our description or call on the given number. Not just that, with our every batch, you get 2 demo classes. Suppose if you have a data which contains null values, how we can deal it with in Excel. First of all, if you see the data that is in front of me, it contains full name, it contains the age of the person, it contains the gender and salary. At some places you can see in gender we do not have any data, or in salary we also do not have any data. Okay, in that condition, what all things we can do? First of all, we can select the whole table. Okay, you can press function F5 or F5 directly. It will give you a pop-up which gives you special, and you can give blank values. You can select on the blank value. If you click on OK, it will choose all the blank values for you. Now suppose if you want to delete the data which contains the null values, you can just click on delete here, and if you click on delete all the rows which contains the null values, it will be deleted. But it won't be a good approach because we cannot delete our data just because of one single null value. Like we have the name, we have the age, but if we do not have the gender or we do not have the salary, in that case we should not be deleting the data. We can fill the values even though they won't be accurate, even though they won't be precise, still we can fill the values. Okay, how we can do that? Let's understand that. I'll just press Ctrl Z because we should never delete the null values. Okay, how we should do this is, suppose now if I talk about gender itself, so focus on this part. If I click on gender, now the shortcut is function F5, or even on the home tab on the right hand side you will find find and select, and just click on go to special. If you click on go to special, it will give you a blanks option. Click on blanks and click on OK. Now it will choose the blank rows for you in this particular column. If I write female and press Ctrl and enter, it will fill all the blank values with F. So if I only press F and press enter, it will take me to the next cell. But if I write F and if I press Ctrl and enter, it will fill all the blank values with F, which is not again a correct approach. Why? Because then the number of females will be more. Okay, so the correct approach would be going to your nearest cell. Okay, so again, if I press Ctrl Z, and instead of writing female over here, I'll just write equal to and the value above it. Equal to and the value above it, and press Ctrl and enter. Now it will not only fill females for you, it will fill the values for you that is there in the above cell for you. Okay, so this is how you can fill the gender data. Okay, or you can go for a downfill as well. So suppose again we have these 4 blank rows equal to, if I write this one and press Ctrl and enter again, it will fill all the values with the data that is there in our next row. This is how we can fill the data. Now when it comes to salary, okay, we generally do not fill the data which is above or below us. What we do is we use the average method. We find the average of our data and we fill it with it. How to find the average of our data? So for that, equal to the average, there's a function called as average which will allow you to find the average of your data and press enter. That is 1,07,473.3. Okay, that is that much dollars. Okay, now all you need to do is click on the salary, click on function F5 and click on special, click on blanks, click on OK. It will select the blank values for you. Now, instead of giving the reference of this data, you cannot give the reference of data, otherwise it will consider it as a circular reference. Suppose we have values like this, okay? And we also have a value over here, 56 and 67 and 44. If you are wondering why it's coming in rupees, because previously we have changed the format of this particular column, that's why it's coming in this format, but never mind. Now, I cannot find the sum of this data in this middle row, right? In this middle cell. If I try to even write sum of all these value, it won't allow me to do so because it's giving a circular reference that whatever the sum of this data would be again added to the sum of it, would be again added to the sum of it. So this is not possible practically. Similarly, if we'll give a reference over here, so suppose if I choose salary, okay, and again function F5, we'll go to special, we'll go to blanks and we'll click on OK. It will choose the value for us. If I write equal to this value and press Ctrl and enter, again the same thing will happen. So instead of doing this, what we can do is I'll just press Ctrl Z and I'll just write the value by myself. That would be 107,473 and press Ctrl and enter. So wherever there is the value, wherever there is a blank, it will be filled with 1,07,473. And you can see the average of data also doesn't change because we are filling the null values with the average itself. So if we want to find the sum of data, that would definitely change, but the average, there is no effect on the average of your data. So this is how you can deal with the null values when they are in Excel. We'll be learning about dealing with the null values in Power Query Editor as well, where we will be performing analysis. Right now, if you want to do it in Excel, this is how the method works, that you can choose the blank values using find and select and go to special, and then you can fill it with any value you desire to fill it with the value which is present in the above or the bottom cell, or with the value, if it's a number, then you can use an average value to fill that data. To deal with our duplicate values, first of all, you can choose any column, not gender, because definitely there will be duplicate values in the gender. If I suppose choose full name, okay, here if I go to the data tab and if I click on remove duplicates, okay, now it tells us that you want to remove duplicates from all these columns. So suppose if we have a duplicate value in this column, in respect to that, do you want to remove the data of all the rows? So if I click on OK, it will remove 4 duplicate values for me. Okay, but it is not the correct approach. So if I press Ctrl Z, it won't be a correct approach. Why? Because let's say, so here we have a name Joshua Gupta. Okay, Joshua Gupta is 23 years old, is a male and has this salary. Again, we have this name Joshua Gupta, who's 29 years old, male, and his salary is also mentioned over here. Okay, now these are two different people, so never delete the data based on name, age, gender, salary, departments, or anything. Okay, always make sure when you're removing the duplicate values, just choose employee ID. So if you click on employee ID, and now if I click on remove duplicates, and again if I click on OK, it would remove the duplicate values from for me based on the IDs. Okay, so this is how this works. Always make sure that from which column we are trying to remove the duplicate values, and never just remove duplicates from gender. Just remove duplicates from the employee ID. This is for table, it is fine, but when it comes to the range as well. So suppose if I would have had the range, okay, so I'm just taking the same data in a new range. It's not a table anymore. It looks like a table, but it's not a table. So if I go to home and if I go to clear formats, it will remove the formats. It's just a range, but not a table. If I choose this, you can choose the range as well. We can go to data tab again, and in the data tab we have remove duplicates. If we click on this is just one column that it is removing its data from. Click on OK, and now 3 duplicate data will be removed from here. So just make sure if you're choosing a range, then it's fine that you can choose a particular column and remove the data. If you're choosing a table, so suppose this table is there, if you're choosing a table, make sure you remove the data using the employee ID. Okay, and it will remove the data from the whole table based on employee IDs. So this is how you can remove the data when it comes to cleaning the duplicate data. Because of the duplicate data, there can be a mismatch in the exact values of, let's say, sales or salaries, or even the mean values, or even the count of the data changes when there are duplicate values. So it is very important to remove the duplicate values from your data, and this is how you can do it in Excel. I hope after this session it is clear how we can remove the duplicates. As you can see in this data, we have white spaces, and if we want to remove the white spaces, whether it is on the left side of your data, left hand side of your data, or whether it is on right hand side of your data, how we can do that? First of all, let's understand it's important that why it is important to remove white spaces. Suppose, let's say, if this is any cell where I want to write a name, okay, and based on this name I want to find the employee ID of that person. Okay, so for that I'm just writing a formula of XLOOKUP. In our upcoming sessions we will be briefly discussing about XLOOKUP, but as of now I'm just writing a formula that I want to look up this name. This name would be found over here, and based on these names return these value. If I close it, if I press enter right now, because name is not available, suppose if I try to write Austin Vo. Okay, so let me just select this, and instead of this I'll write Austin Vo. If I write this, it still says not available. Why? Because Austin Vo has 2 white spaces in front of it. And okay, I haven't written the correct spelling as well, so let me just fix the spelling. Still it doesn't give us the answer. But what if I provide 2 white spaces in front of it? As soon as I provide 2 white spaces in front of it, and now if I press enter, it would give me the employee ID of that person. So because the format is incorrect over here, therefore we are not getting the correct data, because we don't know we have to put 2 spaces in the front or in the back. We don't know that. So that's why it's important to remove white spaces. So for that, what I'll do, I'll just choose this column, or we can create a new column over here, and let's write trim. For trim, we will be passing the text over here, and let's press enter. Now again, if I drop this down, this is the new text. Again, I'm changing the formula over here. There, let's say some name is given. Okay, here I'm writing XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP lookup value is this. These are the values, comma, and we need to return this on the basis of these lookup values. If I press enter right now, not available. But now if I write Austin Vo, the same name. Okay, Austin Vo. and now it's giving us the value. Why? Because this format is fixed now. So it is very important to remove white spaces from your data, and in order to remove white spaces from your data, we have a function called as trim, which allows us to remove the white spaces from our data. Suppose there are some times that when you will write your date, it will come in this format, or even if you'll open a new file which already contains a data in Excel, the date would come in this format. This is because the column is set to a general format, and for that all you need to do is you need to click on general, and then you need to click on short date if you want to convert it to a short date. If you want to convert it to a long date, you can convert it to a long date as well. Also, there could be times where you have date in this format along with the weeks. For that, what we can do is we can use text to columns method, which will allow us to separate date with the week names. Okay, or day names, sorry. Okay, so for that, we'll go to data column and we'll go for text to columns. In text to columns, we have fixed width and a delimited width. We'll go for delimited width would be next, and the values should be comma separated. So instead of this other, I'll be using a comma over here that the values are comma separated. Click on next. You can see some white spaces are there in this data. So let's click on finish. Now we have date over here and the weekdays over here. Okay, now to remove the white spaces, all we need to do is equal to trim and trim this text over here, and just click at the end of this cell and drag it like this, so that the whole formula will be copied in all the cells, and that's how we will obtain our data. So this is how you can fix the column widths. Now the format, previously if I would have gone for the previous method, so previously if I would have tried to convert it to a date as well, so suppose if I wanted to convert it to a long date as well, I would have not been able to do it. But if I use this method again and go to data tab, go for text to columns, use delimiter, which would be a comma separated value, click on finish, and now you can see it's a long date itself. Again, we can trim the data as per our choice. Okay, so this is how you can fix the column formats, and in the home tab you will find all the formats. So you have fraction, percentage, you have time, long date, short date, accounting, currency, number, and general. And if you click on more number formats, you'll find more number formats as well. We have some custom formats as well. Suppose if you want to create a custom format, you can create a custom format for yourself as well. So I hope guys that after this session it is clear that how we can set the formats of the date if they are not in a proper format. Now let's understand some important ones. So here I have some text written over here. We have text number 1 which contains WsCube text, the other text that contains WsCube text but white spaces, and then we have another text that is Jaipur. Suppose if I want to trim a data, so equal to trim. Trim allows us to remove white spaces. Okay, so let's trim this data and it will remove the white spaces from this data. Now let's try to find the length over here. For length we have equal to. To write any function we first write equal to, then we write len, that is the name of the function. If you open the bracket, it says that pass the text over here. So suppose if I pass this text which had white spaces, if I press enter, it would tell me that there are 12 letters in it. Okay, similarly if I do the same thing, that equal to len, but I will try to pass the text, but this time I will pass this text which has been trimmed, and let's press enter and you'll see it has 11 characters, which is actually to WsCube has 8, actually 6 plus 4 in tech and plus 1 space in between. So white spaces will remove the spaces from the left hand side of your data or from the right hand side of your data. Then we have upper function. Upper function allows us to convert our text into upper cases, that is equals to. Suppose if I write equal to upper and let's pass our text over here, this is our text. If I press enter, it will be converted into upper cases. Similarly, lower converts it into a lower case. So lower and this text, and we have a lower case. We actually have a lot of text functions. If you'll go to formulas in the text function, you'll find many of them. We are discussing some of the important ones. Proper allows us to convert our first character into capital. For example, equal to proper. Okay, proper, and I'm choosing this text which I have kept in lower. And if I press enter, see, it would convert the first letter of each word into capital. That means it's making it a title. So if you want to make a title, like if you have first name and last name and you want to convert the first letter of each word into capital, in that case you need to use proper. Then we have left. Left allows us to retrieve the data on the left hand side of our text. For example, if we write left and then we pass text, we need to define how many characters we want. Let's say I want only 2 characters. It would give me ws. For right, again the very same method, equal to right, again the same text, but this time let's say I want to extract 4 characters. If I press enter, it will give me tech. For mid, I need to write equal to mid and text. This is our text. Now it says start number. From which number do you need to start? I need to start from number 3, that is C. How many characters do I want? I want 4 characters. So comma 4 characters, close the bracket, press enter, and you'll get cube. So left will give us ws. That means if you pass 2 characters in it, it's giving us ws. Right is giving us tech, and the mid one is giving us cube. Concat. Concat allows us to concatenate our data. Suppose if you have data in 2 to 3 different columns, in that case you can use concat method. To use concat method, all you need to do is write concat. What do you want to concatenate? Concatenate means to join your data. So I want to concatenate ws, first cube, comma, then tech. And if I close it, this is how it would look like. If you want to pass a space in between, you can pass a space in between in this way. Like if I put a comma over here, and if I pass the space in double quotation like this, it would give me WsCube space tech. So this is how concatenate function works. You can pass it to different columns as well, and you can do it in a table as well. Find function. Find function allows us to find the index of a particular value. For example, equal to find. First, what do we need to find? We need to find, let's say, alphabet C. Okay. In which text? In this text. Okay. Comma. If you want, we can provide the start number as well. If you don't want, we can just close it like this, and it will tell us that small c is on number 10. So as you can see, it is case sensitive because we have written small c over here. It's case sensitive. If I change it to capital C, it would tell me that it is on position number 3. Okay, that means find is case sensitive. While at the same time, if I go for search, equal to search, find text, I want to find C. Within text, this one. Okay, even though I have written small c, it will still tell me that it is on position number 3. That means search is not case sensitive. Find is case sensitive, search is not case sensitive. Okay. Next we have replace function over here. Replace allows us to obviously replace our data, but it works in a different way. Okay, first of all, you pass the old text. What is your old text? So let's say WsCube tech is my old text. Start number, from where you want to start replacing. Or let's not take WsCube tech, let's take Jaipur. Okay. A start number, from which number you want to start replacing. From number 1. How many characters do you want to replace? I want to replace 3 characters. With what value you want to replace it? You need to provide a new text. So I want to replace it with JODH, and if I close it, it gives me Jodhpur. That means JAI has been replaced with JODH. That is how replace works. But here you need to provide which character you want to replace. But in here you need to provide the start number, the number of characters you want to replace, and the text that you want to replace. While how substitute works is that equals to substitute. You just need to pass the text, that this is our text. What is our old text? JAI is our old text. What do you want to replace it with? JODH I want to replace it with. And if I press enter, okay, I guess I've made a little mistake. Okay, I haven't closed it with double quotes. And now Jaipur has been replaced with Jodhpur. See, there is a huge difference between both of them. Okay, both are replacing, that is true. But in this one you can tell that from which number you want to start replacing, how many characters do you need to replace, while in this one you can replace directly while writing the old text and the new text. So I hope after this session, after this video, it is clear how we can use text functions. These are some of the important text functions. So let's first of all talk about if function. If function is very useful. Suppose if based on 2 columns or 1 column you want to create a new column which should be based on a condition that any value in that column is affecting the creation of new value. In that case we can use if function. For example, suppose if the marks are given over here and I want to see how many students have passed or failed. So instead of writing, like, let's say the criteria of passing is the mark should be greater than 50. Okay, so I won't be writing it like this, that this person is failed, this person is passed, by checking each value. What if there are hundreds of values? In that case we can use if function. How does if function works? Let's have a look at that. For that we'll write equal to if, will give a logical test. As soon as we open a bracket, we'll give a logical test. The logical test would be this marks, that if this marks are greater than 50, or you can give greater than equal to 50, in that condition the person is pass. So it says value if true. If value is true, that person is pass. Else, what if it is false? In that case the person fails. Okay, let's press enter. The first guy failed, and let's now drag it till the end, and now you can see this one is passed, this one is passed, this one is failed because the marks are less than 50. Here also the marks are less than 50, that's why this person failed. Okay, this is how if function works. Okay, so maybe let's call it result. Okay, similarly let's take again another criteria. Let's say there's a hackathon in a college. Okay, and only those who have scored greater than 80 and who are from computer science branch, only they can participate in this hackathon. Those who have scored greater than, let's keep the criteria a little simpler, those who have scored greater than 70 and computer science. So what two things are mandatory? It should be computer science, that their branch should be computer science, and their mark should be greater than 70. In that case, if I start with equal to if, as you can see, I only have one logical test over here. What if I want to give two logical tests? The two logical tests would be that this branch should be computer science and the mark should be greater than 70. So I want two logical tests, and both of them are mandatory, that both the criteria should be satisfied. So in that case I'll be using an AND operator which will allow me to give multiple logicals. The first logical over here would be that this branch, this should be equal to computer science, comma, these marks, they should be greater than equal to 70. Close it. What if both these values are true? If both these values are true, the person can get in. Otherwise, the person won't be in for the hackathon. Okay, and let's close it. Let's press enter. The first one is not in, obviously. And only one person is in because this guy has 90 marks and is in CS. This guy is also in CS but only has 67 marks. Let's see what if I change it to 71. Now this guy is in. Okay, so this is how AND operator works. AND operator will allow you to give multiple logicals, and all the logicals that you are providing, they all should be true. For example, if for a hiring in a company, the criteria is that you should have a bachelor's degree, you should have knowledge in Power BI, you should have knowledge in Python. So all the three criteria should be made in order to get that person hired. So that's why AND operator will be used over there. Okay, similarly, because not a lot of people participated in this hackathon, that's why they organized another hackathon, hackathon number 2, or we can call it hackathon 2.0. Okay, in this hackathon 2.0, they have set the new criteria that you could be of any branch, okay, but your marks should be greater than 70. So now this criteria would be that you could be of any branch, okay, and CS is mandatory, but even if you are not from CS, your marks should be greater than 70. Okay, so all the students from CS branch will be in this hackathon, and All those students who are not from CS branch but their marks are greater than 70 can be also in this hackathon. So for that we'll be giving the criteria like this. If now, because any of these logical could be true, so marks could be greater than 70, or if you are from CS, if your marks are greater than 70 you can also get in, or if you are from CS, whether your marks are 50, 24, even if you have failed but you are from CS, then also you can get in. So for that we will be passing the criteria in this way, that for this we will be using or will allow us to give multiple logicals, and we have choices that if even if I have provided 4 logicals, only one of them is true, still it will give me the value for the true. For example, if I say the logical says that this marks should be greater than equal to 70, comma, or this value should be CS, okay, equals to CS. Okay, let's close this bracket, comma, if it is true, and I haven't closed the double quotations, comma, if it is true, then in, if it is not true, then not in. And let's close the bracket as well. Okay, I might have made a little mistake. Double quotation. And I need to put double quotations on both the sides. Now this person is not in. But if I drag, now a lot of people are in. This guy is also in. Why this guy is in? Because he is in double E, but his marks are more than 70. This guy is in mechanical, but his marks is greater than 70. Okay. So that's why they all are in. So in simple words, or means, suppose if again there is a hiring in a company, they say you have done any bachelor's degree, then you can apply for the job. Now any bachelor's degree could be BTech, BCA, B.Ed or BCom. It could be any bachelor's degree. Okay, so if you have completed any of these 4 degrees, that means any of these logicals are satisfied, any of these values are true, that means you can apply for it. And in this case, if any of these 2 logicals, that is that your branch should be CS and your mark should be greater than 70, if any of these 2 logicals is true, that means that person can come into the hackathon, otherwise he cannot. So this is how OR operator works. Now let's move ahead and talk about nested if statement along with and or. Okay, so suppose if there is a hotel which has these number of adults in their list and these number of kids along with those adults, I want to identify the guest type. Okay, this guest type could be a single person. Okay, single, I am not defining a relationship of a person that he is single, but a single person, or a couple. Again, I'm not defining a relationship of a person. A couple means that there are a pair of people. It could be 2 guys, 2 girls, or a couple. And then there could be a family. Okay. For a single, the criteria is that it should be 1 person and no kids. For a couple, the criteria is it should be 2 people and no kids. Okay. And for a family, it can be more than 2 people and more than kids as well. Okay, even if there are 2 people and 2 kids, that also serves in the category of family. Okay, now let's create a formula over here, that let's just remove this and equal to if. Okay, so first of all, let's write it for singles. Okay, for single, the criteria would be that if, and because we need 2 logicals over here, it is important for a single that this value should be equal to 1, comma, and this value should be equal to 0. We will close our first logical and say if this criteria is satisfied, that person is single. Okay, if false, now we do not need to write for false because we need to identify for the couple and family as well. So instead of false, we'll again write if. Another logical test. Now let's go for couple. So for couple, it's important that this should be 2 and this should be 0. Okay, so if we'll give a logical test and both of them should be satisfied, so I'll be writing and this value is equal to 2, comma, and this value is equal to 0. In that condition, that guest is a couple. Okay, remaining of them are family. Simple as that. And I believe, okay, I haven't closed. the last bracket. Let's press enter. The first one is couple, makes sense. And let's drag it down up to here. This one is family because there are 2 people with 1 kid. 4 people with 1 kid is a family. 3 people with 2 kids are a family. 4 people, 0 kids are also could be a family. 1 is a family. Okay, we don't think 1 should be a family. Let's check it once again. Okay, by mistake I have used comma instead of equal to. Let's press the enter again and let's drag it to the bottom again. So now this guy is single. We have a couple here, where is a family, single and couple. So I hope now the concepts of if, and or are clear to you all. So guys, if you go to the formula bar, you will be finding a lot of date and time functions over here. And if you want to use some of the important date and time functions and how you can use them, let's have a look on that. First of all, if I click on equal to and if I write today, okay, if I write equal to and today and just pass the bracket, if I press enter, it would give me the date of today, that is 22nd December 2023. Suppose if I write equal to now and open close the parentheses, it would give me the date and time. The date is 22 December 2023 and the time is 3:11. Okay, this is how you can get a date, and with using now you can get date and time. Now from this date, if you want to extract anything, for example, if I want to extract month, okay, so if I choose this, press enter, it would give me the month number is what? Month number is 12. Equal to, if I want to extract here, I will just give the date inside it and I'll be able to extract the year. Similarly, if I want to extract day, I'll be writing day and open the bracket, pass the day, press enter, that's how you'll get a day. Similarly, if I want to get hour, for that HOUR, hour, and pass the value, press enter, you'll get the hour, that is it's 3 o'clock. Okay. Similarly, if you want to get minutes, in that case MINUTE. Don't go for min is minimum, and go for minute. Minute of this value would be 12 minutes. Similarly, S equal to SEC, second. Okay, serial number is this, and close it, press enter, that it is 55 seconds right now, and within 5 seconds I guess it will be 3:13. Okay, so let's just press enter once again. Let's go to this formula, press enter once again, and it's 3:13. Okay, so this is how basic date and time functions work. Suppose if you have been given a month in this block, then you have been given 23 over here, and then you have been given a year, let's say 2020. Okay, now you want to convert it to a date. Okay, suppose you have been given month, okay, you have been given a day, and you have been given a year. You want to convert it to a date. For that, you will be writing equal to date. First thing it's asking for is year. The second thing it's asking for a month, and the third thing it's asking for a day. As soon as we press enter, it would give us the date. Okay. Similarly, what if I want to find out what is the date of 5 months after this day? In that case, we will be writing e-date. E-date will be talking about the start date, that this is the start date, and I want to figure out, let's say, what will be the date after 5 months of this date. So after 5 months, it gives me the value in general. Let's go to home and convert it to a short date. If I convert it to a short date, it would tell me that it's 23 December 2020, and after 5 months, it would be 23 May 2021. Similarly, you can do it with others as well. If you want to increase years, you want to see what will be the date after 2 years. In that case, what you would do is equal to e-date. The start date would be this, and here the second parameter is months, but we know in a year we have 12 months. Okay, so whatever your value is, for example, let's say it's 2 years, so it should be 2 times 12. Close it, press enter. Again, it's in the format of general. Let's convert it to a short date. that after 2 years, the date would be again the same, but the year would be 2023. This is how eDate works. So I hope guys that the basic functions of date and time are clear to you. These are the very basic functions of date and time which you can use in Excel. We will be having more helpful functions of date and time in Power Query Editor, and we will be discussing them briefly. As of now, these are some basic functions of date and time, and I hope they are all clear to you. So if you want to find out the sum of something using if condition, or if you want to find the count of something, use a if condition. For example, I want to find the sum of amount, but when the category is bills or the category is clothes, then how do I find it? We will be finding that out in this video. So let's get started guys. First of all, let's talk about count. Okay, I'll be using count over here. We have COUNTIF and we have COUNTIFS. Okay, so let's discuss all of them one by one. First of all, let's talk about count. Equal to count. Count will allow us to count the values, that how many total values are here in this table. As soon as I press enter, it would give me 22. Not just table, suppose if I have a range as well. If I have written 45, 67, 78, 34, 5, and if I write equal to count of, if I open the brackets, with these values, close it and press enter, it would tell me there are 4 values over here. But what if I write equal to count of, okay, equal to count of category? In that case, it gives me 0. Why it is there? It is because the count will find out the count of rows which contains the numeric value. But if you want to find the count of rows which contains text values, in that case, instead of count, you will be using count A. Okay, so I'll just write it again, equal to count A, and choose the category, close it and press enter. Obviously it will be 22 because they both belong to the same table and there are no null values. So here we have 22. COUNTIF, let's see how COUNTIF works. See, equal to COUNTIF. Let's see the formula. First of all, it's asking for the range. The range is this. I need to count if I want to see how many expenses are there which are greater than 1000. Okay. So for that, I'll be giving the criteria that the value should be greater than equal to 1000. Okay, let's close and press enter. So only 5 values are there which are greater than 1000. And if you'll check the data as well, only 5 values are there which are greater than and equal to 1000, and all those 5s are here, I guess. Yeah, 1600, 16,000, 1890, 1000 and 1500. This is how COUNTIF works. Now let's see COUNTIFS. COUNTIFS is equals to COUNTIFS. First of all, it's not asking for range over here, it's asking for criteria range. So what should be my criteria? I want that category should be equals to food, but in the food I want capital F. Okay, what should be your next criteria? That in food also I want to count how many of my expenses are on Zomato. Okay, how many times I have ordered food from Zomato. I know you will say you can directly write Zomato there instead of doing it, but I also want to show you that there can be multiple criteria that we can provide over here. Or let's say I want to check food, but all the food count of food payments from UPI. Okay, makes sense. Count of food payments using UPI. So second thing would be the first is criteria range. The second thing would be the criteria that is equal to food. Okay. The third would be again the another criteria range, that would be our payment mode. Okay. Now the payment mode, what will be the criteria for the payment mode? That it should be UPI. Okay. Let's press enter and it would tell us that only 3 payments are made from UPI for food. Okay. For food, there must be different count, but when it comes to food and UPI, this is what the count is. So you can provide as many criteria as you want in the COUNTIFs. Similarly, we have SUMIF and SUMIFS. Okay. Sum, first of all, equal to sum. What do you want to find the sum of? Sum of this whole range. And similarly, it would work on sum of a array as well. Array is nothing but this range would be called as array. A sum of these values Okay, let's press enter and it would be 225. Similarly, this is how we can find the sum. Let's talk about SUMIF. Okay, let's see how SUMIF would work. For SUMIF, I'll be writing equal to SUMIF. Okay, it's asking me for a range, so this is my range. Okay, because I want to find the sum of this range. Okay, obviously. Okay, it's asking for criteria. Now, what should be the criteria in this range itself? It's not asking for the criteria of other range, but in this range itself, I want to find the sum of all the amounts that are above 1000. So for that, we'll be writing greater than equal to 1000. Let's close it. And the sum of these values, if I drag them, you can see at the bottom, the values are 21,990, count is 5, and the average value is also provided over here. Similarly, we have the sum of these values as well. Okay, similarly, if I talk about SUMIFs, now SUMIFs will help us to find the sum if the category is bill. Okay, so it's asking for sum range. Obviously, the amount would be our sum range. The criteria range would be our category. Second, the criteria would be that it should be food. Let's see how much we have spend it on food, and if I press enter, it's 2035 on food. Okay, similarly, you can check for bills, clothes, essentials, and groceries as well. Okay, so this is how SUMIFs will work. I hope after this session it is clear that how we can use count, COUNTIF, COUNTIFs, sum, SUMIF, SUMIFs, and similarly we also have average, averageif, and averageifs. So just like how we have found out the count, COUNTIF, COUNTIFs, and sum, SUMIF, SUMIFs, similarly, I would like you all to try it by yourself, that how you can find the average, averageif, and averageifs. So guys, let's understand how lookup and vertical lookup works. First of all, we are working on lookup, so let's write grades instead of that. Lookup functions, first of all, we are understanding lookup function. For a lookup function, we need to write equal to lookup. Okay, what lookup function will do? Suppose if you have a sheet and based on these marks, you need to provide this grades. Like if someone has scored more than 10, the person would get F, or let's make it 0 instead of this. So I'll just remove the formula as of now. Anyone who has scored above 0 would get an F, above 50 would get a D, above 60 would get a C, and similarly so on up to above 90 would get a A+. I want to write these grades over here based on these criteria. Okay, so for that I'll be using a lookup function. A lookup function will allow you to look up a value from here and fill the value in the grades section. How does it work? Let's have a look on that. Lookup, what is your lookup value? This marks is my lookup value. What is my lookup vector? With the reference of this range, I want to find the answer. And what is my result? This is my result. If I close this and if I press enter, it would give me F, which is true, that marks above 0 and less than 50 would get an F. But there would be a small problem that if I drag it down till here, some of the grades will be here, but then rest of them won't be here. Why? This will happen because if you can see in F, the range is F3 to F8. That means F3 to F8. Okay. Here if I see the range is F7 to F12, which is what? This to F12, which is not true. That means this range should be fixed. Okay. Our formula, these value, our mark should change, but this range, this should be fixed over here. So for that, what we'll do, I'll just write the formula once again and I'll be writing lookup. My lookup value is this. That means this will change. But what should be fixed? My lookup vector should be fixed. So choose this and click on F4. In your keyboard, you have F4. So click on F4, which will put a $sign, which means that this range is fixed. Now this formula will not go down for this particular range. Comma. Similarly, the grades are fixed as well. So choose them and F4 again to fix them. Okay. Close the bracket and press enter. Now the first value is F, and if I drag it down till here, this is how it works. Okay, and now we have all the grades. So suppose someone has scored 90 or more than 90 would get an A plus. Someone who has scored more than 80 would get an A. As you can see, we have A over here. Someone who has scored more than 70 would get a B. So 71, 78 would get a B, and so on for the other marks ranges as well. But there is a limitation to this formula, that here this range, this marks range, it should be in ascending order. It cannot be in a descending order. It should always be in an ascending order. I cannot do this, that if I write 50 over here and if I put a 0 over here and if I put a D here and if I put an F here, okay, this thing would not work. As you can see, our formula is not working. So make sure that this range, this marks range, doesn't matter the grades, this marks range, this should be in ascending order for a lookup function to work. Okay, let's try another example. So suppose here we have employee IDs, we have name, age, gender and salary. Let's say based on salary, okay, based on salary, I want to give a bonus. Okay, now if someone has less than or let's say someone earns more than 1000 would get a bonus of 0%. Okay, would get a bonus of 0%. If someone earns more than 50,000 would get a bonus of 5%. Okay, if someone earns more than, okay, instead of 5,000 I'll make it 50,000. Okay, if someone earns more than 1 lakh, okay, that person will get a bonus of 10%. If someone earns more than 1,50,000, in that case, that person would get a 15% bonus. And someone whose salary is greater than 2 lakhs would get a bonus of 20%. Okay. So, for this, again, I'll be using the lookup function that equal to lookup. This is my lookup value, comma, this is my lookup result vector. Make sure you fix it by using F4 key, comma, and this is what you need to return. Okay, so F4, if I close it again, see 0.5, okay, 15.5, this is 10 obviously, okay, and these are our values. So this is how we have got the bonuses as well. Why it's coming in decimal values? Because it's in percentage, that's why it's coming in decimal values. But this is 5%, 15%, 5%. This one is 10%. Okay, you can shift it by 2 decimal places as well, totally up to you. So if you want, you can shift it to 2 decimal places as well, or we can just convert it to percentage as well. So just select the whole column and select percentage. It would be converted in percentage. So whatever the percent we have provided over here, this percentage is in here as well. So this is how a lookup function works. I hope how lookup function works is clear to you. Just there is only one single limitation, that this vector, this salary vector, okay, your lookup vector, it should be in ascending order. It cannot be in descending, or it cannot be in a random order. It should always be in an ascending order. I hope lookup function is clear to you. Now, once we have covered the lookup functions, let's discuss the vertical lookup function. That what is a vertical lookup function? For a vertical lookup function, I'll just copy this whole same table. Okay, I'll just copy this table and let's say I'm gonna paste it here. So this is my table. Okay, what a vertical lookup will do. So suppose if you have any person's employee ID, based on the employee ID, it will provide us the name or age or gender or salary of that person. Let's see how. Suppose if we have E0 and 1639, 1639, okay, and it's not 0, so let's make it 0. Okay, this is the employee ID of someone. Okay, obviously in a company we'll have thousands of data or hundreds of data. Here we just have this much of data, and suppose if we have the employee ID and I want to find, on the basis of employee ID, I want to find the salary of that person or the name of that person. How we can do it? With using vertical lookup. Vertical lookup means when you have a vertical table, we use vertical lookup. When we have a horizontal table, we use horizontal lookup. Although in many of the cases we do not have the horizontal tables, that's why we are going for a vertical lookup approach over here. is equals to VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP, it's asking for your lookup value. So guys, this is my lookup value. This is the value that I want to find. Where will I find this? Okay, it's asking me for the table array. So this is my table array. In this whole table, I'll be able to find it. And I guess it's not a table yet. So let me just close it because I have copied the values from there. I'm not sure if it is a table. Okay, now it will be a table. So now again, if I use VLOOKUP, so we have vertical lookup. This is our lookup value. Okay, where will I find this lookup value? In this whole table. Okay, column index, that what is your result. Okay, so this is my index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4 and index 5. My result lies in 5th column. Okay, and I want an exact match which is false. Okay, so you can write, for false you can write 0 as well, or you can write false as well. So it's asking, do you want the approximate match of a value or do you want the exact match of a value? So I want the exact match. For exact match you can write 0 as well, or you can write false as well. If I press on enter, it says not available. Let's just check it again. If we have missed something, lookup value, we have array, we have column index and we have range. Okay, it's saying this because we do not have anyone with 1638 employee ID. We do have someone with 1639, that is Joshua Gupta, and his salary is 50,994. Okay, similarly, what if I wanted to find his name? Okay, the name of the person whose employee ID is being mentioned over here. Okay, so for that I'll again write equals to and vertical lookup, VLOOKUP, lookup value. This is my lookup value. Okay, what is my table? This whole thing is my table, comma, my column index. This time name lies in index number 2, that means column number 2. Okay, and I want the exact match, so 0, press enter. Now I have the name of the person whose ID has been mentioned over here. What if I change the ID? Suppose if I put 1550. So if I write 1550, the formula is dynamic. It will change the name of the person. 1550 is Theodore Din, and here we have the value. See, if I would have found it with the help of a name, there can be two people with one name, right? So if I would have found it with a name, it wouldn't have worked. So that is one of the limitations, that you should not have unique values. That means whenever you are using this formula, your lookup value should be a unique value. It should not be a duplicate value. Second thing, your lookup value and your result value, they should lie on left and right of each other. For example, the lookup value, the value from which you are looking from, it should always lie on the left hand side, and whatever you are looking for should always lie on the right hand side. Whether it's name, whether it's age, whether it's gender, or whether it's salary. You cannot find the name of a person from salary by using VLOOKUP. For that we have XLOOKUP or index match that we will be learning about in our upcoming videos. But as of now, this is the limitation of vertical lookup, that from name you cannot find employee ID, or from salary you cannot find the name or age or gender of a person. With the help of name you can find the salary, but there will be a problem that if names are duplicate, then it will only return you the first value. Okay, so suppose if you're looking for this Theodore Din, it won't give you the value because it will just satisfy at the very first value itself. Okay, so these are few limitations. First of all, that your lookup value should lie on the left hand side. But what if you are looking for something from a reference of a name? So from a name, if I want to find out the age, okay, so equal to lookup, actually vertical lookup. How the formula would change, also have a look on that. That vertical lookup, this is my lookup value, not table array. Now the problem with the table array also is there. Okay, your table array will start from here instead of there. So Control Shift right and Control Shift down. This is my table array. Now what am I looking for is age. Age is on the first in the table array. Name is our first column and age is our second column. So I'll write 2 over here. And I'm looking for an exact match, so I'll be writing false. If I press enter, I'll get the age, that is 45. Although this is the data, 1550 is the data of this Theodore Din, but still it is giving us the age of this one because we are looking in the format of a name. The lookup value is a name. That's why for a lookup value, it is mandatory that it should be a unique value. Your lookup value should be a unique value. Your lookup value should lie on the left hand side. With a right lookup value, you cannot find a value which lies on the left hand side. Okay. So your lookup value should lie on the left hand side. With the help of left hand side value, you can find the value which lies on the right hand side. And from wherever your lookup value starts, so suppose your lookup value starts from name, then your table also starts from name, and that's how you count your columns as well. I hope after this session it is clear how you can use vertical lookup. So before we start, if you want to become a successful data analyst and if you want to learn data analytics live from our experts, then fill the form provided in our description or call on the given number. Not just that, with our every batch, you get 2 demo classes. So guys, if you're struggling with the VLOOKUP, if you're struggling with the vertical lookup because it has many limitations. For example, you cannot find the data from the reference of a column which is on the right hand side and the data lies in your left. You cannot find that. Also, we need unique values for it. So if because it has limitations, we have another solution for that, that is index match. Let's see how index match works. How does index match work? To understand that, first of all, I'll be writing index here and match here. Let's understand them one by one. Now what index will do? Equal to index. If I write equal to index, it tells me to give me an array. Let's say I'm giving any array. Let's say I'm giving age. Okay. It's also asking me for a row number. Let's say if I given 5. If I press enter, it gives me the value which lies in this array on row number 5. Simple as that. It's giving me the value which lies in this array at row number 5. Okay. But this row number 5, we need to tell it manually. Okay. What does match do? Now let's have a look on what match will do. Equal to match. Lookup value. This is my lookup value. Where will I find this lookup value? As it is an employee ID, I will find it over here. Okay. Match type. I want the exact match. So for that, I'll be using 0. If I close it, press enter, it would give me 7. That means this employee ID lies in row number 7. If I check it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1550 is in row number 7. If I write the index of row number 7 over here, it will give me the age of a person who is on row number 7. That means the match of this person who is on row number 7 and the age of that person. Right? Now, what if we combine this formula? What if I change it? Let's say if I put it to 1 or 0644. So this is for Ruby bands. Okay. If I change it, my match changes, but my index won't change because I have done it manually. I have written 7 manually, but if I write 6 over here, it would give me the age of Ruby bands, that is 61. But I have to do it manually. So what we will do, we'll combine index and match together. Match will give us the index and index will give us the value that is present on that index. Okay, let's combine them now. That equal to index. Let's see how does it work. From this lookup value, I want to find out, from this value, I want to find out, let's say name of a person or let's say salary of a person. So first let's go with the name. Okay, from this value, I want to find the name of a person. So because I want to find the name, I'll pass the array. Now I do not want to tell the row number because I want it to figure out the row number itself. For that, I'll be passing match over here. What match will do? Match will ask for the lookup value. This is my lookup value. I'll put a comma because we want to find from the employee ID. We'll write employee ID, comma, exact match 0. Let's close it. Let's close the another bracket as well. Let's press enter and you will see that employee 00644. Employee 00644 is the employee ID of Ruby Barnes, and that's how we get the name. And now with the help of salary, let's try to find out the name of the person. Suppose if I write 50994. Okay, 50994 is the salary, and with the help of this I want to find the name of the person. That means I want to find something that is on the left hand side, okay, which is not possible in case of vertical lookup. Okay, so let's do it with index match. That if I write index, what do I need to find? I need to find the name. Okay, now I cannot pass the row number because suppose if I have thousands of data, I won't be taking the row number like that. So I'll be passing match over here. For match, let's just write match. What's our lookup value? 50,990 is our lookup value. Where is our lookup array? The salary is our lookup array, comma, we want the exact match. Let's close it. Let's press enter. Okay, and okay, match and salary. Okay, let's press enter, and 50994 is the salary. Okay, not 00, 50994. Okay, so it gives me the name of the person. That 50994 is the salary of Joshua Gupta. So this is how, using index match, you can find the value which is on the left hand side or even on the right hand side. You just need to use index and match together. Index alone will provide you the value, and where to find the index? By using the match function, you can find the index of a particular row. Okay, this is how index match works together. So if you're using any version older than 2019 and 2019 itself, you won't be having this formula with you. In that case, you can use index match, or you can use vertical lookup as well. Those who are using versions above 2019, let's say 2021, 2023, they can use XLOOKUP. How to use XLOOKUP is very simple. You do not have to use index match together. That means it's not complicated. It's not as complicated as vertical lookup, where you have to take care of the place from where your table is going to start. You do not have to take care of the column number, or you do not have to take care about left to right thing or right to left thing as well. So here in XLOOKUP, we just need to write equal to XLOOKUP. And what's our lookup value? This employee ID is our lookup value. Where will I find it? I will find it over here. And with the help of this, what do I want to return? I want to return, let's say, the salary of this person. Now let's close it and let's press enter, and here we have the salary, that is 1,63,099. It was that simple. Now with the help of this salary, let's say I want to find the name of the person. For that, I will be writing XLOOKUP. This is my lookup value. Where will I find this lookup value? In the salary section. And what do I need to find out? I need to find out the name of that person. So if I close this, press enter, it tells me the name of the person is Luna Sanders. So isn't that easy, that with the help of XLOOKUP function, easily we can find the values. Doesn't matter if it lies on the left hand side or on the right hand side, but this is the limitation, or this is, let's say, a rule for all of them, that whether it's XLOOKUP, vertical lookup, or index match, also you need to find it on the basis of a unique value. Okay, make sure you're using a unique value. If you're not using a unique value, if your data has duplicate values, it will only find the first occurrence of that value for you. Moving ahead, let's try to use nested XLOOKUP. So again, if I have to write this employee ID, so let's find a solution for this. We'll go to data, we'll put a data validation on this, and I'll make it a list. This list would be nothing. Let's choose the source. The source would be, will be the employee ID, and this will be the employee ID. Now if I click on it, if I choose any of the employee ID, it would give me the details of that person. Similarly, okay, let's put an XLOOKUP on this. Let's see if it is working or not. So XLOOKUP, this is my lookup function. I want to return this. Where do I find it? I find it here. I want to return the name of the person. So as soon as I press enter, it works. If I change the value as well, so if in the list, if I choose anything, let's say 4239, that is Joshua Gupta. 4239 is Joshua Gupta. Okay, 1639 is also Joshua Gupta, but that is a different guy. Okay, now let's talk about nested XLOOKUP. How amazing that would be, that if I write any of the employee ID, and if I want to find name, age, gender, salary, whatever I want to find, I can find that too by using just one formula. Okay, for that, what I'll do is, this should also be our list, and again I'll use another data validation over here, which would be a list. But list of what? Let's provide the source. So this is our list. Okay, let's click on OK, and here again we will have a list. Let's say I want to find the age of that person. Alright, now let's use XLOOKUP. That XLOOKUP our lookup value is this. This is our lookup value. Where will I find it? I will find the employee ID over here. Okay. Return. I do not have to return the value as of now. Now I want to find the age of that person or whatever column name is given in this particular cell. So I'll use the XLOOKUP once again. Again, what do I want to find? I want to find whatever is there in this cell. Where will I find it? Name, age, gender and salary. Here I will find it. Okay. Comma. What is my return array? The whole data is my return array. So just select the whole data, close it, close the other bracket as well, press enter and you'll see the age of this person, 4239. Where are you? 4239. So 4239 is this person whose age is 29. Let's change the employee ID. Let's take something. Okay. 3838. So 3838 is Savannah Ali. Okay. Who is 34. Let's see what's her salary is. If I go to salary, it would show me the salary as well. And I guess in the list, by mistake, I have chosen employee ID as well. So you can remove the employee ID. Let's go for name. If I write the name, I find the name as well. But if I choose employee ID, it won't give me the employee ID. So we shouldn't have put the employee ID over here. So you can just change the restrictions once again and just go to data validation. I'll just change the source for this one, that this would be this, not employee ID included. Okay. And now if I change it to age, it would give me the age. If I change it to gender, it would give me the gender of that person. If I change the employee ID, it would give me the male. And age would be 28. And whose age is 28? It's Savannah Ali. Okay. So I hope that how XLOOKUP works is clear to you. It's very simple, but it's not available in 2019 or the below versions. It's only available for 2021 and the above versions. Data cleaning and data pre-processing are a very important part. When you're working with Excel, there can be a lot of times where your data is unclean, it has null value, it has duplicate values, the formats are incorrect, or they contain unnecessary characters, let's say. Okay, so to clean them, we need to use Power Query Editor. How to use Power Query Editor, we will be learning about that in this complete module in different sessions. Okay, in today's session, we are going to talk about different data connectors, because as we will be working on a project, we also need to understand what are the different kinds of data connectors are there in Excel. So for that, if I open Excel, in the data tab only, you'll find get data option on the left hand side. In the get data option, you have different types of data connectors. We have data connectors for a file as well, whether it's an Excel workbook, whether it's a CSV workbook, it's an XML, JSON, PDF, or even if you want to get a data from a folder, you can do that as well. If you want to get a data from a database, that is also possible. From Azure platforms, yes, you can get the data from there. There are other sources as well, for example, ODBC, or from web, or from a table or a range. Okay, so let's say if I choose from web, okay, as of now, let's say if I choose from web, it will give me a pop-up which will ask me for a URL, that from which web URL you want to obtain the data. For that, you can choose any URL. Let's say I'll go for investing.com. This website contains tables of data. Remember one thing, whichever website you are looking for, it should have the data in the format of a table. It should have a tabular data. So just copy this link from here, go to Excel, paste this link here, click on OK. As soon as you will click on OK, it says anonymous, okay, and let's click on connect. Now it will take few seconds and it will establish the connection between the Excel file and the web URL. Also, as many tables are there on that web page, it will also display all the tables. As you can see here on the left, we have table 0, which contains some stock data. Table 1 is there, table 10 is there, which is about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and table 12 is there. Table 13 contains another set of table. Okay, and similarly there are many tables here. Whichever table you want to select, or even if you want to select multiple tables, you can select multiple tables as well. Okay, let's say I want to select these 3 tables, and instead of transforming data, I'll click on load. We'll learn about transforming data in our next session. Right now I'll just click on load. and as soon as I click on load, it will take a few seconds and all these tables will be loaded over here. Click on them. As soon as I hover over them, here there's an option which calls view in worksheet. Click on view in worksheet, or you can directly click on load to as well, which will allow you to add this data to your table. Create a new connection. No, I want this in a format of a table. Where do I want it? In the existing worksheet or in a new worksheet? I do not want to add this to a data model, and click on OK. The query is currently connected to tables, pivot, tables, charts, a calculation, the workbook, removing it from the data model, changing its node will okay, do you want to continue? Yes, I do want to continue. And you will see within few seconds, whatever data was there in that particular table, this will be loaded over here. Okay, this is how you can get a data from web. Similarly, you can open the other tables as well. Just hover over them, click on this triple dots, click on load to, choose add this. I'm not choosing it to the data model. I'm gonna create a table in the existing or in a new worksheet. So you can choose a new worksheet or you can choose an existing worksheet as well, and then it will load the data for you here. Okay, so this is how you can obtain the data from the web, or we will be learning about how we can get the data from an Excel workbook or from a folder in our upcoming sessions. So guys, Power Query Editor is a tool that Excel has borrowed from Power BI. It is very useful when it comes to data cleaning and data pre-processing. So if you want to load data from a folder, from a file, from a web page, from a CSV or an Excel file, or even from a PDF file, you can load the data into Power Query Editor, clean it, pre-process it, and then you can load it again back to Excel so that you can create dashboard, or if you want to forecast the data, or if you want to do the budgeting of the data, you can do all of that with the help of Power Query Editor. How we will be using Power Query Editor? Let's understand that. For that, first of all, I'll just open a new file. So whenever you start with a new project, just make sure that you start with the blank workbook. So I have a blank workbook over here for the data set. Now the data set that I'm going to use over here is on this link which I have provided in description. It's a link to the data sets. In data sets we have pizza sales. If you open it, you have 4 files over here. Let's wait for it to load. If I open this, it has 4 files. Meanwhile, let's do one thing, that I'll go to the folders, I'll go to my desktop, and here I'll create a new folder which would be based on pizza sales, and I will be downloading each of these files in this folder. So let's click on this file. I'll wait for it to load, and here I'll click on download. So I'll download this one. Let's choose the location that on our desktop we have created a pizza sales file. In this, I'm downloading it and save as order details. It's a CSV file. Downloaded this one. Let's go to orders. Let's download this one as well to the very same location. Okay, we have orders now. Pizza types. Let's download it from here and save it. Lastly, we have pizza.csv. Let's download it again and save it in the very same folder. Okay, we have all these files. Now let's come back to Excel. You do not have to open those files directly in a blank workbook because we are starting a project here. Start from a blank workbook. Go to the data tab. In your data tab, you have get data option instead of choosing from Excel workbook, because if I use Excel or CSV workbook, I will have to choose all the files one by one. Because I have data in a folder, I'll choose a folder here. Which folder is it? On my desktop, there is a pizza sales folder. I'm going to open this one. As soon as I click on open, it will open all the 4 files, but they are in the binary format right now. Let's click on transform data. This time we are not going to click on load or combine. We are going to click on transform data. Make sure you right click on the binary. If you by mistake left click on it, it will open the file for you and all your other folders will be gone. In that case, to return back, on the right side we have applied steps. Just click on the cross and come back to the source. Make sure you right click on it, add as a new query, double tap on it, and these are our orders. Okay, these are our orders. Similarly, let's go to pizza sales. We have order details as well. Add as a new query, double tap over it, and let's rename it as order. details. Okay. Similarly, let's go back over here. Third one is pizzas. Add as a new query. I'll double tap over it. And this one is pizzas. And lastly, we have pizza types. Add as a new query. Double tap over it. And select all and pizza types. Okay. So here we have 4 of our files. First one is orders, second one is order details, third one is pizzas, and the fourth one is pizza types. Okay, let's go to orders first. Okay, on the top you can see, first of all, let's understand the interface of Power Query Editor. Here on the top we have a home button which has different features over here. We can keep the rows, remove the rows, sort in ascending, descending, split the column by the basis of delimiter, number of characters, by position, by lower to uppercase, by upper to lower case, on the basis of digit and non-digit, or by non-digit to digit. Okay, we can group by our data. We can use our first row as headers. We can merge the queries, append the queries. Merge means to join, append means to concatenate. Okay, if we go to the transform, again we have some functions over here. It allows us to replace values. Suppose if you want to replace something in a whole column with something, then you can use replace option. We have fill option, which allows us to fill the null values. We have pivot column, unpivot columns. We again have the text functions, numeric functions like statistics, standard, scientific functions. We have trigonometric, rounding, and information functions. If you choose date as a column, you'll find a date function as well, which has been highlighted. If you choose time, time will appear over here, which will allow you to extract hours, minutes, seconds, earliest, latest, all the values. Okay. If you go to add columns, again you will find some similar options like from text, from number, from date and time, similar columns, but this time it will add a new column for you. See, transform will transform your existing column, and add column will add a new column for you. Okay, so you can use add column where you can create custom column, conditional columns, index columns, or you can create a duplicate of a column as well by using an add column option. So this is how the interface of Power Query Editor looks like. On the right hand side we have applied steps. So we have the name of the table. Also below that we have applied steps. This is one very great thing about Power Query Editor, that everything that we will be performing over here, it will be recorded. Everything that we are performing will be recorded over here, and every changes we are applying will be recorded here. We can trace back our steps if we want to undo something, and if there is a new data that will be added to this particular table or this particular sheet, on that data also same steps will be applied. So we do not have to do it all over again if the new data has been added to our data. So that useful Power Query Editor is. So first of all, let's go to this table. In orders, we have order ID, we have date, and we have time. Let's first understand the data. Before we start cleaning our data, let's understand. In orders, we have order ID. That means, obviously, as we can see, it's pizza and pizza type. It's a pizza outlet whose orders are being recorded over here. We also have order details, which contains order details ID, pizza ID, and quantity. In quantity, if I open the drop down value, you can see there are 1, 2, and 3, and if I click on load more, people are ordering up to 4 pizzas. Okay, there are different kinds of pizza IDs. We have order IDs and we have order details ID. If I talk about order ID and order details ID, let's also understand the difference between them. Order ID is a table. Order ID is nothing but a table. How much orders are coming from each table? Like this is table number 1. Only one order is there from table number 1. In a restaurant, this 2 is a table number 2, and from table number 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means 5 orders are there from table number 2. So if I find the unique count of these values, these will be the number of people, or let's say the number of or could be a footfall as well in your restaurant. Okay, that how many people are visiting your restaurant, and these are the number of orders that you have placed so far, the orders that the people have placed so far. So if I find a count of this, these are the number of orders. If I find a count not count, distinct count. That means unique count of these value. The unique count of these values will give me the footfall. That means how many people have visited the pizza outlet. As you can see, 22222 indicates that this is the same person or the same table from which these many orders are being ordered. Similarly, you can see it for 3 as well, that from table number 3, 2 orders have been placed. For table number 4, only 1. 5. For table number 6, 2 orders have been placed. So, and again, if I see for the table number 9, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 orders have been placed from table number 9. So I hope it is clear that what is the difference between order ID and order details ID. We also have pizza ID and we have the quantity. Then we have pizza, which includes pizza ID, pizza type ID, pizza type ID and pizza ID. Let's see the difference between them. The only difference between them is that pizza type ID is the type of pizza ID, but pizza ID is nothing. Suppose someone has ordered barbecue chicken in small size, so it is just BBQ CKN_S. The SML indicates small, medium, large. Okay, the size of the pizza. The prices are also given over here. We have pizza type ID, which should be the name of the column. So for that, what we need to do is click over here. You can click over here, or even on the home page you will find use first row as headers. So our first row is obviously our header, so use first row as headers. Now our first row is headers, and now we have pizza type ID, we have names over here, we have category, and we have what are the ingredients are there in those pizzas. Okay, so we have pizza types, we have pizzas information, we have order details, and we also have orders over here. Okay, in pizzas we have pizza ID, pizza type ID, and the prices are also given over here. In pizza types we just have the types of pizza. Okay, starting from orders. Okay, we have date over here. Now we will be using some functions related to the date. Because we are analyzing this data, we need to transform this data as well. Transforming data means we will be mining this data for insights. Now, how we will be mining this data? We can see that there is a date. Okay, when it comes to a restaurant and we want to analyze the data of a restaurant, we want to analyze things like in which month there are more sales or more orders, on which of the day of the week is the busiest day. Okay, it's like from Monday to Friday, or let's say from Monday to Sunday, which is the busiest day for that restaurant. Okay, for time also we check so many things, that like most of the people are coming in the morning or in the afternoon or in the evening or at night, so that we can grow our business, right? So first of all, let's start with date. For date, if I want to extract something out of date, I will not go to transform, I'll go to add column, because on the basis of date I want to add a new column. Okay, so let's go to date, let's go to add column. Here on date we have year option, month option, quarter option, week option, and day option. As of now I want to find the name of month. Okay, so let's go to name of month. The name of the month is January. This is the name of the month. Similarly, if I want to find let's say which day of the week it was, so again I'll choose date, go to date option, and day is written. In the day, we do not have to click on day or day of week, we need to click on name of day. So if I choose name of day, it would tell me that this day was Thursday. So we have the name of the month, we have the name of the day. If I check the year and click on load more, the whole data is of 2015 only, so we do not need to extract the year so that we can compare. Okay, we can extract the quarters as well. Okay, so suppose if we have date, on the basis of date we can extract the quarter of year. Like if obviously if there's a restaurant, I want to see in which quarter I had more sales, whether it was quarter 1, 2 or 3. So we have quarters as well. Okay, if I load more, we have all the 4 quarters over here with a difference of 3 months in each quarter. Okay, so we have quarter numbers as well, and similarly we have time as well over here. Okay, now in time I also want to know that which will be my busiest hours of the day. So suppose if someone has placed order around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, or some people are placing more orders around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. So I will get to know if my orders are more during the lunch time or more during the dinner time. So for that, I'll go to time. Here we have time. From time we can extract the hour, because no one says that we get most of the hours at 12:32 or 12:44 or in the evening 6:77. Sorry, not 77, 6:37. Okay, we generally go for the hours that around 6 o'clock we have maximum hour, maximum orders. That's why I'll be extracting only hour from here. So if I extract the hours, I'll be getting the hours. So if it's 11:38, it will give us 11. If it's 11:57, it will give us 11. If it's 12:12, it will give us 12. That means that hour. Okay. So here we have extracted the hour. This is what data mining is, that from the existing data, you're mining a new data. You're finding more insights out of it. We are not finding any insights yet, but we are preparing our data for that insights. Okay. So these are few columns that I have extracted for the analysis. Let's go to order details. In order details, we have quantity. What if we also have price over here? In that way, we can find the bill, right? The price of the pizza is written in the pizzas, okay? And in the orders, we have the order ID, the pizza ID, and the quantity that a person has ordered. What if I multiply this quantity with the price? I will get the bill of that order, right? So for that, what we will do is, we'll just go to order details only. In home, we have merge queries. Okay, merge queries will allow us to join two tables. Let's click on a merge query. In merge query, the first table is order details. The second table is pizza. Okay, we have pizzas. Let's see what is common in both of them. We have pizza ID here. We also have pizza ID here. Okay, you can see at the bottom that the selection matches all 48,620 rows. Okay, so as soon as I click on OK, it will create a new table for me. If I try to expand this table, it will give me all the columns. I do not want all the columns over here. All I need is, let's say, the size and the price of that pizza. Even though size is also not required, but I'll go for size and the price of pizza. If I click on OK, here we have the pizza size and also we have the pizza price. We have the size of the pizza and we also have the price of the pizza. Okay. Now if you can reorder the columns here as well. So if I want to reorder the columns, I can just reorder. I will put the quantity here and price over here. Okay. So we have pizza size and we have pizza price. Now I want to add a new column which will tell me the amount here. That means quantity multiplied by price will give me the amount. So let's go to transform or actually add column, and let's add a custom column. This custom column would be the amount. Amount would be nothing but quantity multiplied by pizza's price. Okay. If I click on OK, so 13.25 times 1 is 13.25 itself. But what if I choose only not from the price, but what if I choose 2 here? Like, let's just deselect all, and if I choose select this, so 2 multiplied by 16 is 32. That means it's working for all of them. Let's go back and select all. Or what we can do is, we can remove this filtered rows from here. So you can remove any step. So if you want to undo something, a Control Z will not work over here. You need to click on cross from here. Okay. So here we have order details. Let's go to pizzas. Is there anything that we need to change? We have pizza ID, pizza type ID, we have size, and we have price. And if I go to order details also, we have created a new column over here, right? This is amount. Okay. If in amount, the format over here is given as ABC in 1, 2, 3, and if I want to change it to a currency, here only I have to click on it and it will change it to currency. Now I have the data in the format of currency, that is 2 decimal places, or your amount should always be in 2 decimal places. So make sure wherever there is amount written, even here also it should be in 2 decimal places. So make it a currency. Okay. Quantity is fine, pizza size is fine, pizza ID is fine, order ID is fine. Also check for the formats of your data. It is in 1, 2, 3, it's in date time format, months is fine, quarter is in number format, hour is also in number format. Let's go to pizza. It's in ABC format. ABC size is in ABC. Price, let's convert it to a currency and replace current step. Let's go to pizza types. In pizza type, we have pizza type ID, we have name, we have category, and we also have the ingredients. If I talk about name over here, okay, in the name section, okay, in the name section, as you can see in the name section, the is written everywhere and also pizza is written everywhere. Okay, so if I want to extract the data between over here, okay, I want to extract the data from here. So what will I do? I do not want the in each column. I also want to remove the pizza from each column because it is obvious that this is the data about pizza. So I do not want pizza in each column or each row, sorry. So for that, we'll go to transform. I do not need to create a new column for this. I just need to transform this data. So here we have in the text column, we have an option to extract the data. Okay, extract the data. Now you want to extract the text before delimiters or after delimiters. So we also have the option from text between delimiters. What is our delimiter? Space. And delimiter is also space. Advanced option. Okay, in the advanced option, from the start of the import, from the start, and this one is from the start delimiter towards the end of the input, or from the start delimiter toward the start of the input. This is a little complicated. Let's not go for this method, but let's extract the text after delimiter. Okay, the delimiter would be space. Let's click on OK. So the text after delimiter has been extracted. Now let's go for text before delimiter. So let's go to extract and text before delimiter. The delimiter is space over here. So we need the data before this space. Okay. So text before delimiter, space, and this should be from the end of the input. Like from the end of the input, not from the start of the input, but from the end of the input. Let's click on OK, and the pizza is gone from here as well. So now we have proper name, okay, which is in ABC format. So we have orders, we have order details, we have pizza, pizza types, and this is how our data has been clean and pre-processed. We do not have any null values in this. So in our next session, we will be taking a data set to practice to clean our null values. As of now, I am saving this data so that we can create project on this and we can create visualization dashboard on this. We can create measures with this. So for that, I'll go to home, close and load. Make sure when you click on close and load, you press on close and load to. So I'll press on close and load to, and I'll use add this data to the data model. Click on OK, wait for a few seconds, and all the tables that we have cleaned using Power Query editors, let it be orders which contained month name, day name, quarter, hour, it all will be loaded in Excel. In pizza sales, we have this sheet. In order details, we have the price and the amount. Okay. In pizza section, we have price, size, pizza type ID, and pizza ID. In pizza types, we have different types of pizzas. Okay. As of now, I'm just saving this file. So you can save it wherever you like, or you can save it at the very same location where your data is there. So on my desktop, and let's just go for more options, that browse, and on my desktop, we have pizza sales. I want to save this workbook there itself. Okay, so its name is book 2 as of now. You can change the name according to whatever you like. Once you have saved the changes, you can close it, and then we will continue our next session with a new type of data where we can practice about null values or duplicate data. For that, let's just open Excel. For this, again, I'm opening a new book, a new blank workbook. Okay, let's go to data. In the get data section, I'm going for a file, or you can go for a folder as well. I'll go for a folder over here. On my desktop, in my Excel datasets, I have classic models folder. Okay, let's open this. Again, you will find the link of this dataset in the datasets repository given below in the description. Okay, so it has many plenty files. It has customers, employees, offices, order details, orders, payments, product line, and products. Okay, So let's transform this data. If we click on transform, we will be able to navigate to Power Query Editor. In Power Query Editor, I know only 2 of these files contain null values. So let's right click over it and add this as a new query. Let's double tap on it. Okay. As you can see in address line, we have many null values, although for the analysis, we do not need address line. So from phone to address line 2, I'll delete these columns. So you can delete the columns as well in Power Query Editor. Also, we have contact first name and last name. So if you want to join them, we can again use merge option over here. So go to transform and select your first name, shift, select your last name, click on merge columns. Once you click on merge column, the separator would be a space and the name of this column would be full name. We don't need 2 separate columns for name and surname. Okay, so we have full names. Some of these values might also contain white spaces in it. So as you can see in Karen Smith, the space between Karen and Smith is too much. It's 2 spaces over here. In Jonas also we have 2 spaces. So let's unmerge this data again. Let's go to contact first name. Okay, and go to format. In format, you will find trim option. Trim will allow you to trim. That means remove the white spaces from your data, trim it. Click on this again, choose the second column, click on merge columns again, go for the separator as a space, and now we'll be providing the full name over here. So this is our full name, and now we have names with the proper spaces in between them. We also have null values in the states. Now these null values, if I try to fill them, if I try to fill down, nothing would work. Even if I try to fill up, to fill the null values, we have 2 options. Whether if it's a string, we use fill down, fill up. If it's a numeric value, we use the average or median for that data. Okay, for here we have a string, but it's not identifying it as a null value. Here we have null written over here, but the Power Query Editor is not identifying it as a null value. How it will identify it? Let's understand that. First of all, go to replace value. Instead of NULL, replace all the values with small NULL. Click on OK, and now you can see there are null values. Also, on the top there is a line. It's green for each column, but for this particular column, it's half green and more than half is black, which tells us, if we hover on it, it tells us that from complete data, 73 data, that means 60% of your data is empty. Now if we click on fill down, it will fill the values, or if we'll click on fill up, it will fill the value in this cell, Okay, moving ahead, let's go to postal code. And postal code is again something that we do not need for analysis. Sales representative employee number, it should also be in a numeric format. So let's go over here and convert it to a whole number. As soon as we convert it to a whole number, we can see we have some null values over here. To fill them, we can again use fill down. Okay, suppose if we have had null values in credit limit, in that case what you would have done is you would have used statistics and find the mean, that is the average of this data. The average of this data is 67,659. Go back and click over here, go to transform, replace values, replace null values with 65,700 and whatever the number was. Okay, you would have done that if it had null values, because it's a numeric data. Okay, so this is how you can deal with the null value. Suppose if Power Query Editor is not identifying it as a null value, you need to first make it identify it as a null value by converting it to a lowercase null value. Also, this is our customers data. Sometimes you do not need to fill the null values as well. For example, if I go to employees, if I add this as a new query, if I open this, again we have first name, last name. Just for safety purposes, I'm trimming it. Select the last name, merge the column, name it as full name. Okay, and the separator would be the space, and click on OK. A new column would be created. Now you can see in reports too, we have null values also. The format should be is a whole number, and we have a null value over here. But I'm not going to fill this null value. Why I'm not going to fill this null value is because, as you can see, the name of the column is reports to. That means who this person is going to report to. This person, this guy is a president. Obviously, the president will not report to anyone. That's why there is a null value. So also we need to understand the logic behind why there is a null value. If you want to change it to a numeric value, you can convert it to 0 or just nothing, or let it be null itself. Null means blank only, that it is a blank value, because president never reports to anyone. So it's important to understand the context of null values, that why there is a null value over here. I hope after this session it is clear how you can deal with the data if it contains null values. If your data also contains duplicate values, so in this condition we do not have any duplicate values, but if you do have any duplicate values, you can right click over here, and over here only you'll find an option to remove duplicates. We also have an option to remove errors, remove duplicates. You can remove duplicates or you can remove error as per your requirement. I hope this is clear how we can deal with the null values. It's also very important to understand the context of the null values. So for that, first of all, let's go for that kind of data. If I open my folders and if I go back over here, I have a folder actually which contains data over here, which has transactions of 1997, also has a transaction of 1998. If we open this file, transaction of 1997, transaction date, stock date, production ID, customer ID, store ID and quantity. Similarly, if I go back and open transactions of 1998, and if I open it again, I have the same thing: transaction date, stock date, product ID, customer ID, store ID, quantity. That means both of these files have similar kind of data, which generally happens in many of the companies. So if you have data of sales of different months, they prefer it putting in different folders, but when you're analyzing it, you do not have to analyze them one by one. You can analyze them at one time. That's what we are going to do over here today, because we have data in both 1998 and 1997. They both have similar kind of columns, only there is a difference of date, because obviously this data is from 1998 and the previous data was from 1997. So one is from 1997, the other one is from 1998. Okay, let's close both of these files. I do not want to save any changes over here, and I'll close this file as well. Let's come back over here. Okay, we have 1997 and we also have 1998 over here. I'll just copy these files, create a new folder here, sales, and I'll also transfer them to a new folder so that the process will be simpler for you all to understand that how we can combine files in Excel. So let's come back to Excel, open a new blank workbook. Let's go to get data and you can choose a folder over here again. Okay, so from folder, and in Excel datasets, in the Maven market we have sales. Let's click on open. So we have both our files over here. Now here at the bottom we have combine option, combine and transform. We do not have to combine and load, but we need to combine and then we will be performing the transformations. So combine and transform. Let's click on combine and transform. So here we have skip files with errors option is also there. Everything is comma separated based on first to 100 rows. Okay, this is our first file, and here Maven market transaction 1998 is our second file. Okay, let's click on OK. Okay, as soon as we click on OK, we have a source name over here. So let's remove the source name. We do not need a source name. Okay, before removing the source name, I'll also change the type of the columns, because I want to change the type of the columns according to my choice. Now I'll remove the source name. We have the transaction date, and if I load this and load more of it, you can see we have data of both 1997 and 1998. Okay, it does not mean we have a duplicate data. We have data from both 1997 and 1998. Now we can analyze them together, and let's say in future if we plan to add another file also to this folder, it will automatically get added to this data. So suppose if we have the transactions of 1999 as well, if we add it to the folder directly, we do not have to perform any of these steps. It will automatically be added because Excel is recording each step that we are doing. Now we have transaction date. If I convert it to a date format directly like this, okay, if I convert it to date format directly like this, I know there is an error in this. Why there is an error in this? Let's load more and check. You can see there is a date format error that we couldn't convert it. This can happen. When can this happen? Let's understand that too. See, this happens when you have date in different from different locality. In India, the date pattern is day, month, and year, and according to US, it's month, day, and then year. This data is created in the format of US standards, and that's why if I scroll down, so suppose if I convert it to date also, let's go back and convert it to date from here. Okay, if I convert it to date and if I scroll down, okay, I'll be scrolling down a lot. So let's just wait for a few seconds for me to scroll down. Okay, and we are close now. I'm still scrolling. And after 12th, okay, after 12th, the next date should be 13th, right? 01/13/1997, right? But according to Indian standards, the format should be what? It should be first date, then month, then year. According to us, 13 month does not exist. That's why there is an error. But why Power Query Editor is not showing it? Because at the bottom you can see it says column profiling based on top 1000 rows. So if there is no error in the top 1000 rows, that means it won't detect it. But still, I knew there was an error. In your case, if you don't know and such date error occurs, that is because the error is in row number 2000, 3000, or any number that is more than 1000. Okay, in that case, what we need to do? How do we change the data type of date? Okay, in that case, all you need to do is when it is in ABC format, make sure that it should be in ABC format. Right click over it, click on change type using locale. Okay, using locale, it will give you the option for date, but the locale should not be India, it should be English United States. So we will be choosing United States. As of now, you can see in Indian format it's day, month, then year. If I choose United States, it would show me month, then day, and then year. And if I click on OK, it would now change the data. If I click on this drop down and load more as well, it will load all the data for me. Okay, whether the date is 12, 13, 14, 24 or any, it will do it for all of them. And similar thing you can do with the stock date. So whenever you have a data which has been created with US standards, in that case you will have to do this. I hope after this session it is clear that how we can combine files once it is combined and once everything is being sorted. Suppose if we have changed the data for here as well, we can load it back to Power Query, load it back to Excel, and if you want to create a dashboard out of it, do whatever you want to do, you can do it. The best part about combining files is that you can combine the files and analyze it all together instead of analyzing different data at the same time. And even if a new file will be added to that folder, the one which we created for transactions, this one, if a new file, Maven Market Transaction 1999 will be added to it, the similar things, the similar operations will be applied to it automatically. You do not have to do anything. You just have to add the data and refresh your Excel, and it will automatically add that data for you. I hope after this session it is clear that how we can combine files using Excel once you are done with this. Suppose once you are done with the stock and all, stock date and everything as well, you can just click on close and load, and it will load your data to Excel. So guys, this was combining files in Excel. In our next session, we will be discussing about how we can model our data in Excel. For data modeling, we will come back to the same data set that we have been working before on pizza sales analysis. Last time we left it to load to data model. In our next session, we will be discussing about how we can model that data. So before we start, if you want to become a successful data analyst and if you want to learn data analytics live from our experts, then fill the form provided in our description or call on the given number. Not just that, with our every batch, you get 2 demo classes. For that, first of all, let's open Excel here. In Excel, you can open that workbook which we created for pizza sales, where we loaded all our data over here by using Power Query Editor. If you're not following our previous videos, do follow our previous videos so that you can reach till here. Now, what is data modeling? Let's understand that. Suppose, as of now, I have these 4 different files over here, right? And I want to create a pivot table. I want to create a dashboard out of it, or even I want to create a pivot table. So I'm adding a new sheet called as pivot. Okay. I want to know that here are some categories of pizzas. Here are also names of pizza. I want to see which category is hot selling. Okay, so we have category, and if we go to orders or the order details, we have the amount of these categories, that how much amount has been placed. Okay, how much orders has been placed and how much amount has been generated, how much sales has been generated. To generate that, we need a pivot table, that means a summary table, which we will be discussing further in future. Okay, as of now, if I go to insert and add a pivot table over here, okay, and let's add it from data model as of now, and if I add it to this existing worksheet, you can see we have pizza types. So let's go to pizza types. Where is pizza type? Here we have pizza types. Here we have categories. The rows should contain categories. As soon as I go to order details, we have amount. If I add the values, it will give me all the values over here, that chicken's sale is this much, classic pizza sale is this much, supreme sale is this much, and veggies sales is this much. But do you think all the values are same and the grand total is also same? Do you think it is possible that all of the values are same and the grand total is also same? Not possible, right? So to join all these files all together means doesn't mean that I want to bring all the files in one place, but to build the connection between each of the files. So with the help of pizza type, so with the help of category, we can find out how many sales we have generated or how many orders we have placed, right? If I want to find all these things, then we need to do data modeling. How data modeling is done is very simple. All you need to do is, we have developer enabled for us. In developer, go to com add-ins. In com add-ins, you will find Microsoft Power Pivot for Excel. Click on OK. As soon as you'll click on Microsoft Power Pivot for Excel, a new button Manage will appear for you. A new tab Power Pivot, which will allow us to model our data. This will appear. In this, we have Manage section. Suppose if your data, okay, let me just first click on Manage section. So if I go to manage, because I added all my data to the data model, you can see all our files are available over here. This is the area where we model our data. Okay. If in your case the files are not available for you, in that case all you need to do is simply select the table, click on add to data model, so that all the files will be visible to you in the data model if they are not there. If they are already there, okay, all you need to do is go to diagram view. In diagram view, we have all our files. Let's open them like this. Okay, and I'll just open all the columns. So I'll expand it so that all the columns are visible. Okay, now we need to model our data. To model our data, how to model our data is very simple, because we were building connections between order details and pizzas. What do you see common in order details and pizza? We have order details ID here, order ID here, pizza ID. We have pizza ID, and pizzas also has a pizza ID. Okay, so if I go to pizza ID and if I drop it on pizza ID, it will build a connection over here which will show you 1 and asterisk. That means here is a connection of 1 to many. Here we have pizza type ID, and here also we have pizza type ID. If I build the connection again, it's showing 1 to asterisk, which means there is a connection of 1 to many. That means this pizza ID is occurring one time in pizza types and many times in pizzas. We'll be discussing about cardinality more in our next session. As of now, once we have built this relationship here, let's see what are the changes in our Excel file. I'll just close this file. You do not have to save Power Pivot. You can just close it directly. Let's go to pivot. And now you can see that the sales have changed for us. Now the sales for chicken is this much, classic is this much, supreme is this much, and for veggies it is this much. So now the relationship has been built between each table, and with the reference of one table you can get the data of another table. This is what data modeling is. In our next session, we will be discussing about what is cardinality, what kinds of relationships are created, how these relationships are created. First of all, let's go back to Power Pivot and click on Manage. As soon as you click on Manage, click on Diagram View. Okay, the diagram view is here. Here, previously we created some relationships. If you hover over this relationship, it will tell you the two columns between which the relationship has been built. These relationships build between primary and the foreign key. Now, what is a primary and a foreign key? Let's understand that. Let's say you are a customer at Amazon, and every month you purchase some few things, or every yearly you purchase 4 to 5 stuff. Okay, when they are recording your data, your ID is created once, right? That is your customer ID. Your customer ID is created once in their database, and every time you will place an order, that customer ID will be recorded again and again. Like, instead of all your details, only your customer ID will be repeated again and again, so that with the reference of that customer ID they can see your details, right? So your customer ID is coming one time in customer's data, while at the same time that ID is repeating multiple times in the orders data. That is what primary and a foreign key is. A primary key is a unique key, a unique identifier. For example, Aadhaar card. Aadhaar card is our unique identifier. There can be many people with the same name, but there is only one person with one kind of Aadhaar ID, right? So our Aadhaar ID is our primary key. That same Aadhaar ID, if it is reoccurring multiple times in some different kind of a table, that would be called as a foreign key. Okay. Similarly, the pizza type ID. Pizza type ID is coming one time in the pizza types. That pizza type ID is reoccurring multiple times in the pizzas. Here we have pizza ID. The pizza ID is coming one time in pizzas, but it's reoccurring multiple times in order details. Similarly, we also have order ID over here, and we also have order ID here as well. If I drag and drop it over order ID, it would give us a relationship of one to many. That means this order ID is coming one time in the orders data, and that similar ID is coming multiple times in the order details. Okay, this is how we build a relationship between the tables, and you can arrange them as you want. Now there is only pizza type ID, which is not here, it is only here. Pizza ID is here, and pizza ID is here as well. We have order ID and order details ID. Order ID is here and order ID is here as well. That's why we have built the relationships in between them. This one to many shows the type of relationship. One to many is that in this table the ID is coming one time. Many over here, asterisk, the star over here shows asterisk. If I zoom in, let me just zoom in for you. Okay, this asterisk symbol over here stands for many. It means many. That means this order ID is coming one time in this table, and this order ID is occurring multiple times in this table. So this thing is called as cardinality. That means the kinds of relationships that are forming between the table. The cardinality is divided into 4 categories. There is one to one, one to many, many to one, and even many to many. Based on your data, any kind of relationships can be created. Many to many relationships are not preferred, as they do not give us the accurate data. We prefer one to one relationship, many to one, or one to many relationships. Also, you will notice there is a flow direction over here. That means there is an arrow over here which tells that it is always flowing towards many. As you can see, towards many. In Excel, we cannot create a flow which goes both the sides. The flow of data is always towards many, which indicates, what does it indicate? Let's understand that. Okay, based on orders, we can get the data of order details. Based on pizzas, we can get the data of order details. But based on anything from order details, we cannot get the data of pizzas, or based on anything from order details, we cannot get the data of orders over here. Okay, so wherever the flow of direction will go, we can obtain the data from there only. Suppose we have quantity over here 1, 2, 3 and 4, and we also have count of order ID over here. Okay, so let's say ki, how if we want to calculate, let's come back to Excel for this. Okay, let's say I'm taking another example of a pivot table over here. Let's copy and paste this data. Now what I'll try to do is that with the help of quantity, which is there in order details, right? So I'll mention quantity over here and I want to find order ID's count. So if I change it to count, how I have done it, again we will be discussing it in our future sessions, but you can see the count is 21,350, 21,350, 21,350. That means there is no relationship in between them, but there is a relationship, but the flow is going towards order details. It's not going towards orders, it's going towards order details. If we check here again in the diagram view, the flow is going towards order details, which implies that we cannot obtain data from here based on this data. Like based on quantity, we cannot get the order ID, but based on month name, we can find the quantity, we can find the amount, we can find how many orders were placed in that month. That could be done because the arrow is pointing towards this table. This is what filter flow direction is. I hope after this session it is clear, and if I show you the example as well. So if I change quantity from here and if I put a month name here, and instead of this if I put, let's say, amount, that in each month how much revenue has been generated, you can see it's giving us the values as well. It's not giving us the similar value again and again, which tells us that it's important to see where the flow of filter is going. Wherever it's pointing, we can obtain the data from there. I hope it is clear what cardinality and filter flow direction is. In our next session, we'll be talking about visualization, how we can create pivot tables, how does these pivot table works, how we can create charts out of it, how we can create slicers, and how we can create dashboards. Now guys, how to create a pivot table is very simple. All you need to do is go to insert, and in insert we have pivot table options. Like if you want to add any pivot table, what pivot table is, it is nothing but a summary of your data. So suppose if you have any data, let's say if I go to orders and if I want to create a summary of this data, all I need to do is select this data, create a recommended pivot tables as well. You can create a recommended pivot tables which will tell you that based on months you want to count the order ID, based on days you want to count the order ID, that means how many orders are placed during the days, or you can open sum of quarter or sum of hour as well. So some recommendations are over here, that here we have row labels and this one doesn't make any sense. This one does, and whatever makes sense you can click on OK, and that would be added to a new sheet. As of now I don't want it, so I can delete it as well. So this is what a pivot table is. Pivot table is nothing but a summary of your data based on one kind of a row and multiple columns. For example, if I go to pivot section over here, we have also previously created some pivot tables, but that we have created from different tables. We know how to create it from a similar table as well. So suppose if we have order details, here I want to create a pivot table based on only this table. So I'll select this table, and based on this I'll go to insert and ask for recommendations. So it will give me the row labels as these, and the sum of pizzas have been ordered, but we don't need that as well. So I'll just click on cross. I'll go to pivot table again, and let's try to add a pivot table from our data model. Because we have done the modeling of our data, we'll be creating a pivot table from that. So let's add data from data model to the existing worksheet. Now here we have 4 options. When you'll open Excel, okay, this is how the format of data would look like. Okay, you can change it to my format as well, as it is much more easier to drive files like this till here. So we have order details, orders, pizza types and pizza. Make sure you use these tables which has orange symbol of database here, because these are the data that we have modeled, that these are the data which we have created a relationship with. Okay, so now you can create pivot table based on anything. Let's say we have different types of pizzas, so let's go for pizza name as rows, and I want to see how many orders are being placed of these things. So order details ID contains the orders. So I do not want to find the sum of orders. As you can see in order details, if we go to order details, so we have order details here, order ID here, where order details indicates the number of orders, order ID indicates the number of tables from which the orders have been placed. You can also call it as a footfall of people. So we have order ID, we have order details, we have pizza ID, pizza size, quantity, price and amount given over here. Okay, let's come back to pivot. So because we do not want to find the sum of order details ID, we'll go to value field settings. Click on this, go to value field settings, click on count, and it will give you the count. You can see that there are different names and there is a count. Total number of orders are 48,820, and these are the order of different types of pizza. But I do not want all of these. Let's say I want top 5 values. For that, what should I do for the top 5 values? For that, all you need to do is click on this symbol. Here we have label filters, also we have value filters. Go for value filters and go for top 10. Instead of top 10, you can choose top 5 best most ordered pizzas. In this case, top 5 most ordered pizzas. Click on OK and you'll get the top 5 most ordered pizza. Also, you can go to pivot table analyze and change the name of this table, most ordered. Okay, or you can also write it as top 5. Okay, in designs there is more options that if you want to change the grand total, if you do not want to see the grand total of this pivot table, you can turn it off for both rows and columns. Here also we have the same option, you can turn it off for both rows and columns. Now it is totally up to you. Like suppose we have category as well. If you want to add a subcategory to it, the category is here, and even the name is obviously the subcategory, so you can add the subcategory as well. If you click on the minus button, it will get collapsed like this, it will get collapsed, and if you click on the plus button, you will be able to see the subcategories as well. So in the chicken section, we have these many pizzas which are generating these many sales. Okay, so this is how you can build the pivot tables, and in pivot tables you can do a lot of things. If you also want to see something very amazing, okay, so let's say again I have another kind of pivot table, or let's take the same example where I have this same pivot table but I'm removing name from here. I'm just looking at the sales. Okay, now if I go to sum of amount, right click over here or left click over here, you can go for value field settings. In value field settings there is another option which says show values as percentage of grand total. If I click on OK, it would tell me that this is 100%. In 100%, the maximum sales we are getting is from Classic, that is 26.91. Then we have Supreme on 25.46. Then we have Chicken on 23.696 again. And then we have Veggie on 23.68%. So you can show the percentage values as well, or if I press just Ctrl Z, we'll come back to rupees. And if you know that this data is in US standards, we can go to home page, go to custom, and instead of this we'll convert it to a currency. It's already a currency, but let's change the symbol to dollars, and now we have the data in dollars. Select this as well, and you can customize it to, not customize but change the symbol to dollars. If you do not want a grand total for both of them as well, just go to their design and go to grand totals and turn it off for them. So not on but off, actually off for this one, and let's select this one as well, grand totals, and I'll turn it off for this one as well. So this is how you can create pivot tables. You can create pivot tables from recommendations. So in insert option we have recommended pivot tables as well, but here we need to define the table or range from where you want it to recommend you a pivot table. Also we have pivot table section itself where you can create your own pivot table. I hope it is clear how we can create pivot tables, how we can make different kinds of changes, whether we want to find something that is top 10 values, top 5 values, or bottom 5, bottom 10 values, whether we want to show the data in the terms of percentage, we can do that too using pivot tables. Guys, whenever you want to visualize your data, for that case we need charts in Excel, and how we will be able to create it, how we can create it, we will be knowing about that in this session. So let's get started. To create charts, we will go to insert section. In the insert section, in the chart section, you can see there are some recommended charts. There are also different kinds of charts that you can create. We have column chart, line chart, a pie chart. This is a tree map which we can insert. We also have histograms, we also have scatter plot, funnel chart, or we have maps as well, or we have a pivot chart option as well, that with the help of, we can create a pivot table as well as a pivot chart from that. You want to create a pivot chart, or even you want to create a pivot table, you can create that too. Suppose if this is the chart, if I choose, I can go to recommended charts and it will show me the different types of charts that it can create. If I go to the line chart, this is how it looks like. If I create a pie chart, this is how it looks like. A bar plot would look like this, which is a horizontal bar plot. So even this is a horizontal bar plot that which we can create. And we can go for a regular one, that is a bar chart as well. We can create an area chart as well, but it won't go nice with this. Okay, let's go for a column chart. If I click on a column chart, it will add this chart for me. You can do different kinds of formatting in it. Now suppose if I choose this chart, we can go to format. In the format section, we can fill the shape with any color that you would like. Suppose if you want to go with black, gray, or any color that you like, you can choose any color. You can choose the bars. Suppose if I click on the bars as well, we can fill this shape with whatever we like. So if you want to go for some darker shades, you can go for darker shades as well. If you choose the text option, we can change the text colors as well over here. So accordingly, you can put any text color that you like. Okay, you can choose this as well, and text color similar. I can remove the total if I want to. Okay, here on the total section, we can give a name to this chart, that this is basically sales distribution based on months, right? So let's double tap over here and write sales distribution based on months. Here we have sum of amount and month name given as well. These we do not need these fields, so we can just hide all field buttons on chart. And also we have a plus button over here. Let's click on this plus, and it gives us, if you want to give a title to your x-axis and y-axis, obviously we need to give a title. These are our months names. So let's double tap over here. These are our months, and the title over here would change in this way, that this is our sales. Okay, so we have month name, we also have sales. If I click on plus, we have an option to enable the data labels as well. You can give a data label. You can create a data table at the bottom as well. You can create error bars as well. If you want to enable or disable grid lines, if you want to provide the legend, which we actually deleted. If you want to add a trend line to it, you can add a trend line to it as well. So these are some elements that you can add to your chart. We have formatting options as well, which has different colors and patterns that you like. We have colors option as well. You can choose any color and it will follow that particular template for you. Okay, and this is how you can choose a color for it. If you want to even format it further more, if you click on this chart, press Ctrl+1 together. If you press Ctrl+1, it will give you the format options where you can fill different things. You can even fill a pattern over here in anything that you want to fill. You can give a border to it. Okay, so here we have border option as well, and you can customize it accordingly. Again, if we go over here, we have shadow options, we have glow option, we have soft edges which we can create. We have 3D formats as well. Here we have size and properties, that if you want to set the size and other properties, you can set that too. Similarly, this is one chart. Let's do one thing. Let's open a new page and I'll just cut this chart from here, Ctrl X and Ctrl V over here. Okay, now let's go to pivot again. I'll choose maybe this pivot table. Based on this pivot table, I want to create another chart. I'll go to insert, and this time I want to create a pie chart from this. So I can create a pie chart, or even I can create a donut chart as well. There's another option to create a tree map, but this will not work as the data is inside a pivot table. Had this data been outside the pivot table, it would have worked for us. But because it's inside a pivot table, it won't work for us. And here you can select a donut chart if you like. So this is what a donut chart would look like. Again, you can go to its design and design it accordingly. You can format it according to your choice. So again, if you want to use the same shape fill color which we have used previously, you can use the same color for each slices as well. Okay, I'm not drilling down, but for each slices as well, if you want to change the color, you can change the color for each slices as well. Like whatever the color you want to keep, maybe some this shade, or if I want to change this particular one to any other shade, let's say yellow, and this one to something blue, and this one to something a darker shade of green, maybe like this. So I can change the colors as well. Similarly, here we have the categories as well. Good thing about it is, let's just first also change the title of it: sales distribution based on categories. So this will be our sales distribution. Again, we can hide the field buttons, hide all field buttons on the chart, so that your chart area will increase. Again, we can open this plus button. We have data labels. We can enable the data labels. One good thing about data labels is where do you want them? You want them inside, you want them outside, you want a call out value, or we have more options as well. I prefer it outside, so I'll just keep it outside. I'll remove the legend from here, but then how will I know which one is classic, which one is supreme? For that, I'll go to the chart. On the right hand side, we have format options. Let's click on these buttons, and we have more options here, label options. In the label options, you can also show the category name. See, chicken and the value, classic and the value. So there are many customizable options in Excel. All you need to do is explore them. Click on each thing and explore how many customization options are there, and you can do wonders in Excel. Okay, so this is our chart, and again Control X, and I'll go to this chart, this sheet basically, and paste it over here. So this is how you can paste your another chart as well. Similarly, you can add more chart to it. Keep it a little down till here maybe. So this is how it would look like. And if you want to add more charts, more pivot tables to it, you can add more charts and more pivot tables to it. I hope for now it is clear how we can create charts in Excel. In our next session, we will be discussing about how we can create slicers in Excel. Slices are very useful when you want to filter your data based on any particular field. You can use slicer. You can create a complete dashboard for yourself, and then if you want to filter your data based on months, based on product categories, or anything, then you can use a slicer to filter that data out. How to use slicers, how to create slicers, let's have a look on that, how we can do that. If you have a pivot table, let's say this is our pivot table, and if I want to create a slicer based on this pivot table, all I need to do is, if I'll go to insert option, I have a slicer over here. Let's click on this slicer, and it gives you an options of all of them. Now what do you want to create this slicer based on? Like what is the purpose of your slicer over here? Let's say it's the weekdays, or could be a month, or could be anything as well. So let's say here in our case scenario, we have weekdays. Weekdays are given over here as week name, so we have the day name actually. So let's choose the day name, and based on that we have our data. Now if I click on Friday, the data will be showing us all the sales that were done on Friday in these months, all the sales that were made in these months on different days. We also have Saturday, we also have Sunday, Thursday, Tuesday, and similarly we can filter our data like this. We cannot only just filter the data of this pivot table based on this slicer. Suppose if I right click over it and go to report connections, and if I join the rest of the pivot tables as well with this one, and if I click on OK and click on OK again, now if I choose Friday, you can see all the orders that were placed on Friday, all the amount that we have got based on categories on Friday. On Monday it's this much, on Saturday it's this much, Sunday it's this much, Thursday it is this much, Tuesday again we have the sales based on Tuesday and orders based on Tuesday, and on Wednesday also we have these much of sales. So this is how we can create slicers. Now slicers can be, you can create multiple slicers, and it is also very useful when it comes to charts. So if I Control X it from here and go to this sheet, if I paste it here, for some reason I'm unable to paste it. Let's create a slicer, and as I had created it for a day name, let's create it for a day name. And here we have our slicer on Wednesday. For Friday, see the data is changing according to Wednesday, Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. and this is how you can change the data as well. If I want to connect it with this sheet as well, right click on it, just click on report connections, and you can choose all the pivot tables. Click on OK because these charts have been created with pivot tables, that's why. Saturday, Thursday, Friday and Wednesday. So you can see how the data of both the charts are changing with our slicer, and if you want to remove all the choices, you can just click on this cross over here and it will show you the complete data back again. You can format it as well. Go to slicer and here you can find different types of slicer styles, or you can create a custom slicer for yourself as well. I'll just go with this similar one. You can create a customized slicer for yourself. Suppose if this is what the height of my slicer is, I can create the height of each slicer tab as well. So if I increase this, see, this is how it increases, and I can increase it a little bit more, and this is how it looks like. So you can make it a cube as well, or if you want to add multiple columns to it. Suppose I don't want to keep it vertical, I want to keep it horizontal. So in that case, I'll increase the number of columns too, because there are 7 days, so 7 columns. And if I press enter, we'll get 7 columns here. Let's increase the size and let's decrease the height. So this is how the slicer would look like, and you can put it on the top. You can choose Monday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. You can create it on the basis of anything. Okay, we also have another option next to slicer, that is timeline. You can create a timeline as well. Suppose if I choose this chart and click on timeline, go to all. Timelines are created on the basis of dates and time over here. So in the orders, we have date option. Okay, so if I choose this, it will give me a timeline over here. In the timeline, we have separate sections for months, because there is only 1 year, that is 2015, so obviously the data will be of 2015. We also have the options for quarters. If I choose quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, this is how my data would change. Again, for the connections, you can just go to report connections and connect it with the rest of the pivot tables as well. Now if I choose quarter 4, that is December, November and October, these are our sales. Quarter 3, that would be August, July and September. If I click on cross, it will come back to all the quarters. You can choose months also over here, or you can choose days also over here. So October 20th, what was the sale in October 22, 21, okay, of 2015? There wasn't any sale. Okay, we can choose any other day as well, which we might think had some sale. On days, it's not there. So let's go to months and choose a month. You can choose all of them all together. Okay, and let's go to December. Yeah, from August to December, you can choose it like that. You can move the slider as well like this and choose all of them all together, or remove the filter like this. This is how timeline would work, and you can again customize it. Go to timeline. Here you have different formats, so you can just click on this and choose any format that you like for your timeline. So I'll just go with the speech one, and you can just decide its place wherever you want to place it. And this is how, again, how it would look like. I think its size needs to be increased a bit more. Okay, so this is how it would look like. I hope as of now it is clear that how we can create slicers and timelines, but there is just one small issue that is bothering me here. That is, if you see the name of the months and if you see the name of the days, they are not in ascending order. Ascending order as in not A to Z ascending order, but it should be Monday, Tuesday, Friday, or Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Wednesday. Sorry, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And for months, it should be January, February, March, April, right? So how to do that? For that, we have one very simple option. Okay, we need to launch the Power Query Editor. For that, again, go to Data tab, go to Get Data, launch Power Query Editor. Click on Launch Power Query Editor. In our orders sections only, we have the day name and we also have the month name. Obtain them from the date. Just do one more thing. Go to Add Column, along with the month name, add the number of month as well. Okay, so the month number is 1, and for the day name also, go to again the same column. Okay, just choose date over here, and in the day section, day of week, choose the number of week, day number of a week. Like Sunday is 0, Monday is 1, Tuesday is 2, Wednesday is 3. So that is day of week. If you choose that, you'll be getting the day as well. Come back to home, close this and load it. Once we have closed and loaded, it will take few seconds to change. Once it is done, go to Power Pivot, go to Manage. Okay, let's come to Data View, and it's there in our Orders section, right? In our Orders section, we have month name. Choose month name, and on the top it's written Sort by column. Sort this data by what? Month name should be changed by month number. These month number, it should be sorted by these month number. So it's January. For January, it's 1, right? It should be sorted with these month number. Click on OK, and it will be sorted. Let's come to date as well. Day name. So day name should be sorted by day of week. So let's choose day of week. Click on OK. Once it is done, come back to Excel and let's wait for a few seconds. On the data tab, okay, you can see as soon as we move to the data tab, now it's been formatted to Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and even the months name are proper now. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November and December. Okay, so now everything has been formatted properly. I hope it is clear how we can add slicers and timelines, and even if we want to set the format of our slicers, even for our charts properly, for the month's name, for the day names, this is the method how you can do it. What are measures? Guys, when you want to obtain a singular data out of your whole data, singular value out of your whole data, for example, sum of sales, let's say average order per person you want to figure out, or you want to figure out what is the total footfall, you want to figure out how many orders have been placed, what is the count of orders, let's say, that is what the how many orders have been placed is. Okay, you want to figure out all these things. For that, we create measures in Excel. How to create measures? Measures are again something that Excel has taken from Power BI, and for this we use DAX functions. So for creating measures, we do not use Excel's functions, we use DAX functions, that is data analysis expressions. How to create a measure is very simple. For that, we need to go to, so to create a measure, all you need to do is go to Power Pivot, click on measures, click on a new measure that we want to create a new measure over here. The name of this measure would be total sales. Okay, I want to create a measure which would be our total sales, which would be nothing but sum of our amount which is there in order details. Close this bracket. It's a currency which is not an Indian currency but a US currency, so you can choose English United States from here, and it should have 2 decimal places. That is fine. If we click on OK, a measure would be created over here. Let's go to pivot and let's add a new pivot table over here. I'll copy this and paste it here. Now I don't remember where did I created that one, but let's go to all, and I believe it's in pizza sales. Yeah, in the pizza sales, you can see one f of x and total sales is there. This is nothing but our measure. All you need to do is do not put anything, just put the total sales here, and you will find the total sales right here in front of you. So our total sales have been this much. If you go to sheet, I hope, okay, the Friday has been selected, that's why the total sales is affected. Now our total sales is 8,17,860. If you go to this sheet, if you want to add this data to a text box as well, you can add it to a text box as well. How to add it to a text box is very simple. Go to insert. Here we have a text option, create a text box, and this is how we can create a text box. Write equals to, go to pivot, and it won't allow you to get the data directly from here. Okay, for this we need to make a small change here. Go to this pivot, and so this is a pivot table. Go to design, and here, not actually design but pivot table analyze, here you will find options. In the option, there is an option to generate get pivot data. Disable this, come back to sheet, click on equal to again, not here but in formula bar, click on equal to again, go to pivot, choose this value and press enter. Now this value will be here. What is the plus point of putting this value over here is that now I can customize it according to myself. Like I can write over here total, I mean not like this, but over here like this. This is total sales. Select all. You can put the alignment to the center, center and center. Fill it with any text color that you want. Okay, so I'll just keep this as the ones that I have over here, and the text color would be similar to the ones I have over here. You can increase the font size as well according to your choice. So suppose if I want to keep it 16, you just need to increase the width and the height. So here we have the total sales of our data. One good thing about it is that if I go over here, if I right click, go for report connections and join it with the other pivot tables as well. Okay, it has been joined already. So now if I click on Sunday and change my data, okay, for some reason the data is not changing. Have I not connected with the other pivot table? Let me just check it once again. Report connections, and we have pivot table 1, 2, 4 and 5. Okay, let's click on cross again. We have total sales here. We have 4 pivot tables. If I click on Saturday and if I come back over here, the data over here is changing, but the data over here is not changing. This could be because of this total sales which has been written over here. Let me just write it once again, that equal to, let's go to pivot once again, choose this value, press enter. Okay, and over here I'll just write total sales once again. Select all, fill the color, fill the cell color as well. The font size would be 18. And now if I change it to Tuesday or remove the filter as well, I have the value. So as you can see, my measure is also changing the value along with my data. So this is why we create measures. So if you want to create text cards for your dashboard, you can use measures to create a text card for your dashboard. Similarly, you can figure out other things as well. So suppose if I go to Power Pivot again, go to measures, create a new measure. I want to figure out what is order per person, because the whole purpose of creating a dashboard is to provide a business solution. Currently, whatever is the order per person is, to increase our business, we need to increase that number so that our sales will increase. So if I want to figure out what is order per person, for that I will be using this COUNTIF, actually COUNTIF order details ID, because those are the number of orders which will be then divided by distinct count of order ID, which are the number of people. So I'll be using order ID here. Close it. It would be a number, would be a decimal number obviously, because it will be an average value. Now go to pivot. Okay, I'll create a copy of this again over here. This would be nothing but our order per person, and if I check our order per person, it would be 2.28. Go to your sheet, create a copy of this, and this value would change to, this one is what, F25. So let's just change it to F25, press enter. We have 2.28. You can edit it again. This would be what, order per person. We can select all of it. We can go to home again, change the text colors, change the cell color, increase the font size to whatever you like, and if you want to increase the width of the text, then you can increase the width of it as well, but then you will have to arrange it somewhere else. Or you can decrease the font size as well, but make sure the font size should be similar of each of them. They should not change. So both of them has the font size of 14. So this is how it would look like. And then you can add more measures to it, like how much of footfall was there, how many orders have been placed. Similar things you can add over here. And even you can add more charts. There are only 2 charts as of now. You can add more charts to it. I hope after this session it is clear that how we can create measures in Excel and how it is useful for us. So even if I change data for Wednesday as well, the order per person reduces to 2.5. Let's go for Friday. It's 2.9. That means on Friday our sales are comparatively higher. If I check for Monday, it's lower. If I check for Sunday, it's also again lower. For Thursday, lower. For Saturday, it's comparatively very higher. So for Friday, it's 2.29, but at least on Saturday, it's actually exceeding the value of 2.3. So it's 2.33. So this is how we are getting to know about our data by all these small analysis. I hope it is clear how we can create measures and how useful they are. In our next session, we will be discussing about how to create buttons in Excel. Buttons play a very mandatory role when you want to navigate between different sheets. So here in our case scenario, suppose if we are on pivot table and we want to go to our dashboard. Okay, so what we can do is we can just go on insert option. In the insert option, you can add an icon or you can add a shape. So let's say I'll just add a shape which looks like a button, and you can write anything on this as well. Let's say let's write dashboard over here. Okay, and let's increase the size of it. You can fill any color to the in the text as well. Let's keep it white or some light blue only. For shape also you can just choose any color, because all our color has been in this color, so I'll be just choosing this color here, the shades of brown. Okay, and the font size as well. So select all and I'll increase the font size. Okay, this is our dashboard. Now what I want is if someone clicks on it, it will navigate that person to this page. Okay, for that all you need to do is click on this and right click over here. Here we have an option to link it. In the link section, we can choose place in this document, that where do you want to navigate to. So obviously a place in this document, which would be what? Sheet number 4. Click on OK. Now if I go over here, you can see there's a hand, and if I click on this hand, it will navigate me to sheet number 4. And if you want to change the name to dashboard as well, we can change the name as well. Every time we'll go over here, reference is invalid. Why? Because we have changed the name of the sheet. Okay, let's edit the link again, and this time okay, let's make it dashboard. Click on it and we will navigate to our dashboard. This is how we can create buttons, and if you want to go back, you can create a back button over here. If you want to create any icon over here, you can just add an icon as well. So even if you don't want to do this, you want to insert an icon. So here we have icons. We can go for arrow. So we have an arrow as well over here. Okay, we do not have a right arrow. Let me just write right arrow. Okay, let's use this and rotate it. So I'm just going to use this and rotate it to 90 degree. Okay, even I can make this as icon. If I choose this, set it over here. Okay, and again if I right click on it, again there is an option to link it. So where do I find a link? Link is at the bottom. Place in this document, which will take us to the dashboard. Okay, Control Z, let me choose it again, right click over it and link it. Place in this dashboard. Okay, now if I click on this, it will take me to the dashboard. So this is how buttons work. You can create buttons for many purposes, and for navigation especially you can create buttons. I hope it is clear how we can create buttons in Excel. In our next session, we'll be talking about how we can create a whole dashboard in Excel. To create a dashboard, there are so many things that you need to keep in your mind. Dashboards are really important when it comes to data analysis, when it comes to business analysis as well. You need to create a dashboard whenever you are dealing with data in Excel. So whenever you want to visualize your data, we generally create a dashboard. For creating a dashboard, we have almost done all the things that are required. We have created charts, we have added a timeline, we have created a slicer, we have also added few measures. Rest of the measures you need to add by yourself. Okay, what you can also do is you can select all the cells and you can fill the colors in them as well. You can choose any color. Okay, something like this maybe. So this is how the background would look like. For a dashboard, make sure click on this button and make it in full screen. Now this is the area that you have for a complete dashboard. That means you can add so many more charts over here. You can create a 1, 2, 3 or 4 more charts and plenty of measures over here. To create more of them, you can create more of pivot tables. Copy this, paste it over here, Now this time I want to identify the orders based on hours. We have also calculated hours, so our row would be on hour, and I want to see that how many orders are being placed, which is in order details, and I'll put the value over here. I do not want the sum, but I want the count of it. So if I find the count of it, it would give me how many orders are being placed. Obviously it should not be in the format of amount, so let's just go over here, go to home and remove accounting and move it to general. So these are the orders that are being placed. Again, select all of it, click on these three buttons and go to insert. Here we have a chart. For every time when you're dealing with date or time, make sure to use a line chart. Okay, I'll be using a line chart for this. Control X, go to your dashboard and Control V. Okay, if you want to use the similar formats, you can just copy this and right click over here and paste it. Now it will change it to column chart, but no worries, select this, go to your pivot chart design and change the type to line back again, and you have a line chart. If you want to fill the color, again you can fill the color as well. Go to format, shape fill, and in the shape fill we have light peach color. Also for the shape, not outline, but if I choose this line, particularly this line, okay, so if I choose this line along with the markers, the shape fill would be what, this in color. So yeah, this is how it looks like. So you can change it in this way as well. And how amazing it is now that I can see that most of our orders are coming between 12 to 1 p.m. 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. That means people are visiting our outlet mostly during the lunch. And you can check it for different days as well. Let's check for Wednesday. Wednesday again the same. On Thursday again there are more people who are coming for lunch. On Friday a lot of people are coming for dinner as well. On Saturday, okay, on Saturday a lot of people are coming for dinner. On the weekends, that means the dinner is more popular. The dinner time, or let's say the evening time, which is between 6 to 7, that is more busier. This is how you can derive your analysis. Okay, so you can create more charts like this, we can create more measures like this. And if you want to add some slicer based on month as well, you can add a slicer based on month or any category as well. For that, all we need to do is go over here, just like how we have created top 5 products, we can create bottom 5 products as well. And we haven't created any chart with this one, right? So let's go for the data tab, let's insert a chart, and could be a column chart over here. Control X, let's go to our dashboard and Control V. Also, we can utilize this space for top and bottom items because we have enough space over here. So this would be our top 5. Okay, and for the format, let's fix the formats as well. So I'll just copy this and over here paste it. Okay, and I have used the wrong format, I guess. It should be this one. So let's copy this and right click and paste it. Okay, now the format is perfect, but this time it's not months and this one is not months again. Just make sure you change the names as well, so that these are our hours and these are our orders. Similarly, over here, these are our pizza names, and these would be their sales. Okay, so this is what we can do. Just like how we have created top 5 of the items, we can create bottom 5 as well. We can reduce the size like this. Okay, I guess this much would be sufficient, or edit it according to our choice, or we can keep it here as well and increase the size. So top 5 would be here and next to it would be a bottom 5. So you can create a bottom 5 as well, and then you can fix another kind of chart over here. Could be anything, or you can add something else also which you want to add. You can add icon as well. So not over here, but over here on the top. make sure that your slicers and your timelines are very close to each other so that people can easily access it, and you can add an icon over here on the top. Make sure to adjust the sizes as well, and once it is done, your dashboard will be completed. So I'm obviously not going to make a whole dashboard over here, but I'm just giving you a brief that how you can create a dashboard and customize the rest of the things as well. So in this whole section, you will be creating your cards, and here you can add more of the charts. If you want, you can keep this one on the top, and we can increase its width, and we can add some small chart, could be a pie chart as well, a small pie chart over here, which could be based on these same categories but based on orders, that which of these categories are ordered the most. So yes, we can do that too over here. So a lot of things could be done over here. I hope as of now it is clear that how we can build a dashboard in Excel. I hope there is no doubts and no questions. And in our next session, we are going to discuss about how we can forecast in Excel. So before we start, if you want to become a successful data analyst and if you want to learn data analytics live from our experts, then fill the form provided in our description or call on the given number. Not just that, with our every batch, you get 2 demo classes. So guys, to forecast in Excel, first of all, we need a data. So let's say I'm opening a new sheet over here. So on this sheet, let's say I've added some years. Over the years, there has been a sales trend, which could be, let's say, in 2002, or let's take it as 2020, or let's say total profit was of 56,000. Okay, could be sales, could be quantity. You can consider it as anything, because I'm taking a sample data only. In the next year, it was 67,000. In 2022, it was 65,000. In 2023, the sales was, let's say, 70,500. Now, based on this data, if I want to forecast the data of future, suppose this had been our data where we have figured out the sales of different years, or could be orders of different years, or could be orders of different months as well. Okay, now on the basis of this, I want to forecast more data for the future. In that case, what will I do is very simple. Go to data tab, and here we have forecast sheet. Click on forecast sheet, and you can see here we have a forecast sheet which tells us 2020's data, 2021, 2022, 2023, and it will give us an estimate of what our sales is going to be in 2024. You can also do it for 2025, 2026 as well. Okay, this is how it will forecast it for you. If you notice over here, we have 2 more orange line. One is the thick line and 2 orange line which are not that thick. Those are the lower confidence level and the upper confidence level. What are they indicating? They are indicating that the confidence interval is of 95%, which tells us the confidence interval of 95% means that there is only a possibility of 5% that in future this data will go above this line or below this line. Understand it again. If I say that the confidence interval is of 95%, it implies that there is only 5% of the possibility that your data will either go above this or below this. Okay, below the upper bound or below the lower bound. Okay, this is what it is. You can even do this with the bar chart as well. So forecasting can be done both on a line plot or even on bar plot as well. Here again we have this confidence interval as these error bars. These are the error bars. The confidence interval is of 95%. Do not make it 100%. We cannot predict 100% that what is going to be our sales in future, but 95% is fine, which tells us an error bar of this much, which tells us that there is only 5% possibility that data will go above this line or below this line. I hope after this video it is clear that what forecasting it is. And if I click on create as well, it will create a chart for me of 2024, 25, 26 with the forecast value with the confidence intervals as well, that what are the confidence intervals. So this is what forecasting it. It is very essential for business analysts to know the forecast trends. How does forecasting works? I hope it is clear for you. In our next session, we will be discussing about what if analysis. What if analysis allows us to analyze in the situation of what ifs. For example, if I have a data, let's say if I have a product, okay, whose price is let's say whose price is 230 rupees. The quantity that I have sold this month is 45. Obviously my sales would be what? My sales would be equal to this multiply by this, right? So sales is of 10,350. Okay, what if my goal is to reach 15,000, but I cannot change the price, I can only change the quantity. How much quantity will I need to sell in order to reach 15,000 here? So for that, what I need to do is go to what if analysis, and here we have three options. We have scenario manager, we have goal seek, we also have a data table. Let's go to goal seek. The goal seek will allow us to change this value to what value? 15,000. By changing which value? By changing the quantity. The quantity lies over here. Let's go over here, click on OK. So if I sell 65 quantity for 1 month for the price of 230, then I will be able to make 15,000 of sale. Now it is in decimal value because the amount is 230. If the amount would have been something else, the decimal value would not have been there. But approximately I need to sell 65 quantities in order to reach 15,000 sales. Okay, this is how goal seek can be used. Another option over here is to create a data table. If you want to create a data table using Excel, you can create a data table as well. For example, this time I also have month here. Again, my sales would be what? That for 1 month, if I have a price of 230 and I have sold 45 quantity, my sales would be this much. Okay. Now if I take, let's say my quantity is 45, next is 50, next is 55, 60. I want to see my sales for all these months. Okay, let's choose all of them and drop it down till 90. So it will detect the pattern, fill the values, that is Flashfill. If you have seen the whole video, it is Flashfill. And here I'll take a reference of this value. Now it is mandatory to take a reference. Select this whole area. Now go to what if analysis and go to data table. Your column input is what? It's quantity. Click on OK, and you will now see that if the price is 230 and you have sold 45 quantity, the amount will be 10,350. If you have sold 50 quantity, this will be the amount. 50 on 55, this will be the amount. On 60, this will be the amount. On 65, this will be the amount, and so on up to 90. This is how you can see that if you sell any of these following quantity, how much amount you will be getting. Now let's try an extended version of this. Okay, I'll just come back and press OK. I will have to remove it. Control Z would not work here. Okay, now let's do something else. I'll just write 1, tab 2, tab 3, tab 4, tab 5 and tab 6. Okay, again I'm taking the reference, but this time over here. Press enter. Now I'm selecting this whole area. Okay, I guess I have missed one column. The 6 should be here. Okay, now let's choose this whole area. Again, we'll go to what if analysis, we'll go to data table. The column input will remain the same. That what is our column input? This 45 is our column input. Just make sure everything you are writing should be a part of formula. Okay, so make sure about this thing. What will be the row input this time? The row input is nothing but the months that we have provided. As soon as I press OK, it would tell me that if I sell with the same price 45 quantity for 1 month, this will be the price. For 2 months, this will be my sales. For 3 months, this will be my sales. For 4 months, this will be my sales. For 5 months, this will be, and for 6 months, this will be. If I constantly sell every month 65 quantity, by the end of 6 months, this much amount I will have. If I constantly sell 90 for 6 months, 90 quantity for 6 months, this is the amount that I will have. So this is how you can create a data table as well. It is often used to calculate EMIs, or if you are thinking to invest into something and you want to see how much is the interest that you are receiving from different banks or from different policies, then you can calculate that too by using a formula and creating a data table. If you calculate the 8% for 6 months, how much amount you will save or how much amount you will get. Okay, this is how you can calculate things as well by using data tables. I hope after this session it is clear that how we can create data tables, and this whole course we have discussed about how with the help of Excel we can create different formulas, we can write different formulas, how we can clean data, process our data, how we can model our data. We have used lookup functions, we have used SUMIFs, COUNTIFs, we have also created a small dashboard. I'm giving you guys a small task over here. This is the dashboard that we have last completed. I want you all to complete this dashboard. Once you have completed this dashboard, tag us on LinkedIn and you can submit your dashboards over there by mentioning WsCube Tech in your post and we will acknowledge it. I hope after this session it is clear that how we can create data tables in Excel. For more such content, follow our channel WsCube Tech. Thank you.